topics. I will call each panel of witnesses at the table, one panel at a time. I would like to ask everyone to please keep your testimony to 5 minutes. I understand the need in Indian country is great, and I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I have to gavel folks if they run over so that we can hear from all of our witnesses. Just as a reminder, your full written testimony will be included in the record. We will be using a timer to track the progress of each witness. When the light turns yellow, the witness will have 1 minute remaining to conclude their remarks. When the light turns red, I will have to ask the witnesses to stop so that we can remain on schedule. We'll hear from every witness on each panel before members will be provided an opportunity to ask questions. I request that we try to keep things moving so that we can stay on schedule and respect each other's time. If we have votes later this afternoon, we will briefly recess to allow members to vote and then resume the panels when members return. I also want to note that committee rules prohibit the use of outside cameras and audio equipment during these hearings. The hearings can be viewed in its entirety on the committee's website, and an official hearing transcript will be available at gpo.gov. I'm now happy to yield to our distinguished ranking member who is not here, but her substitute, who was the former chairman of this committee, Ms. McCullum from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a former substitute teacher, it's always great to serve. I want to thank all the witnesses for coming, and I explained earlier you're going to see us come in and out due to unfortunate conflicts of interest. I want you to know that all of your written testimony, we have it. We read it. My staff will tell you I read it because I give her homework to do afterwards sometimes if I wasn't here to ask a question. So it's important to hear your concerns. I want to commend the chair for doing this again. There's been talk on and off over the years about not doing this. And Mr. Chair, once again, you do a great job in a nonpartisan way. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. It is true. We do actually read all testimony. In fact, when I was in the state legislature and I was a speaker, when someone would go on a trip, they would have to write a report, and they would come. And in one of the reports, one of my majority leaders wrote in there a line halfway through said, "I'll bet you don't read this stupid damn report." And of course, I read it, and so I called him and said, "Yes, I did read this report." And so we do actually read the testimony because it influences the appropriation process as we go through. So. Anyway, our first panel, I understand Doreen Levitt is not going to be here, didn't make it or something. So, Cynthia, you are the panel this afternoon. Floor is yours. Hold it down and the little light turns red, but you can't see it.
Okay, I got it.
There you go.
Perfect. Ganesh, thank you, Chairman Simpson, and members of the subcommittee for this opportunity. My name is Cynthia Peterson. That is my government name. My given name is Shawat, and I serve as the president of the Yaktinket tribe. For over 34 years, we have provided services for our tribal citizens while uplifting our community's cultural, social, and economic well-being. We have approximately 820 citizens, and our traditional territory in the Yakutat Borough encompasses nearly 10,000 square miles. We sincerely appreciate your recent historic investments in Indian country in recent fiscal years and your efforts to protect Indian country, programs, broader budget cuts. To further Congress's goal of fulfilling its trust and treaty obligation to our people, I offer the following recommendations for FY26. First, protect the IHS and BIA budget. The IHS and BIA have long been severely underfunded, yet their budget continues to be at risk. We respect the efforts of Congress to curb government spending. However, the tribal budget is so small that any cuts will not result in federal savings, but it will devastate our citizens. We urge Congress to permanently exempt the IHS and BIA from cuts, sequestrations, rescissions, and funding freezes. The next one is 105L leases and joint venture programs. Our tribe was fortunate enough to benefit from the IHS joint venture program. Through this program, tribes like ours build a healthcare facility with non-IHS funds, and IHS commits to fund the additional operational costs. Unfortunately, current law makes joint venture facilities ineligible for Section 105L leases, leaving us with virtually no funding to complete needed repairs and improvements. This makes no sense. Our tribe and Congress have invested significant resources into the facility, and all of that is at risk because there's no funding for maintenance. We are asking you to protect our joint investment by making joint venture programs eligible for Section 105L leases. Co-stewardship. Much of our traditional territory is managed by the Forest Service or the National Park Service. A reminder that the Yaktinket Borough encompasses nearly 10,000 square miles. The maintenance of these lands is essential because they hold many of our subsistence trails. We welcome any opportunity to have these lands returned to us, but in the meantime, tribal co-stewardship ensures that these lands can be best protected. We have a strong relationship with the local Forest Service district, and we know both agencies need more funding. We ask that you appropriate enough to support both existing and new tribal co-stewardship agreements. Long-term care. The IHS receives no funding dedicated to long-term care. This presents huge challenges in rural Alaska because existing facilities are extremely limited and far from home. Our elders deserve to age in place, and we are ready to step up to the plate if only we have the proper funding. We are extremely grateful that the IHS opened a special joint venture application specifically dedicated to long-term care, but this one-time opportunity is not enough to fill the vast need, even in Alaska. We are asking you to dedicate permanent funding for long-term care. Advance appropriations. We continue to advocate for advance appropriations and support your proposal to expand it to healthcare and sanitation facilities construction. Mandatory funding for CSC and Section 105L leases. We appreciate the subcommittee's commitment to fully funding CSC and Section 105L leases, but we're concerned that they are still within discretionary appropriations despite their obligatory nature. Here, they continue to take up a larger percentage of overall IHS spending, and we're very worried that Congress will cut into other tribal programs to pay for these increases, especially after the recent Supreme Court ruling. To protect all IHS funding, we urge you to enact mandatory appropriations for CSC and 105L leases. Addressing patient travel in Alaska. In recent years, the cost of the air travel in Alaska has skyrocketed to unsustainable levels given how often our patients must fly to receive any type of hospital care. Indeed, in FY23, the Alaska Tribal Health System overspent its PRC allocation by $44 million. We therefore urge you to allocate an additional $50 million to the Alaska area for PRC. Over the last 60 years, community health aides have provided critical health care to rural communities in Alaska. The IHS insufficiently funds the Alaska area to operate community health aid, including for training and certification. We ask for recurring operational funds for this program. Guneshish, thank you so much for your consideration. I look forward to our continued partnership.
Thank you for your testimony, and thank you for being here today. You guys have unique challenges, I guess is the best word to put it in Alaska. I'd never really thought about the amount that you have to spend on getting people places and stuff, because it's a big state, and it's hard to get around.
It is.
Don't have a lot of highways to drive on and stuff, so those are unique challenges that face Alaska and stuff. You mentioned subsistence trails?
Subsistence trails.
Subsistence trails. What exactly are those?
Those are trails to our ancestral lands that provide us food. Subsistence is our way of life.
Right.
That is how we survive. Without access to these areas, we can't survive.
And what's the challenge that we have with them right now?
It's in Forest Service hands, it's in Park Service hands. Those agencies are underfunded and cannot keep those trails open.
Okay.
So with a co-management, co-stewardship agreements with the tribe, we can partner and make sure that they stay open, that our communities, the people within our communities are fed.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't had that subject raised before, but that, yeah. The other thing that, I can't remember what I was going to say. I'm old. Ms. McCullum?
Just take a second, I'll jog your memory.
Yeah,
for you.
that's what I was thinking.
So, yeah, co-managing the trails, I mean, we do that in Forest Service lands, so that sounds like something that we'd be happy to work with, probably the authorizers with, but we can give them a nudge to do that. The repairs on the hospitals, that, I've been in some of the facilities. It was, it's great that tribes are doing it, but the agreement, the way it was always kind of described to us, meaning the Congress, was that you'd build a hospital, we'd staff the hospital, the supplies and that inside of it. No one's ever talked about the repairs. So now these hospitals are kind of new at the time. They're starting to get aged and age. So I don't know how things were written into contracts. We have to figure that out. We have a hard time, I'm going to be honest, keeping up with the hospitals, the schools and that we do have. So if this is something that this committee's going to take on, or it was part of our responsibility in the way this is done, I guess we need to know this sooner than later. So thank you for bringing that up. You're the first, we do read the testimony. You're the first person I've heard say it, but I think you're the first person I've even encountered saying that about. And so we need to figure that out, Mr. Chair, what our responsibilities were, what the tribes, and they might be different contracts with different hospitals too, who knows? Thank you. Thank you for making the trip all the way here.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, Jared Michael Erickson and Jeremy Takala? Is that right? All right. I'm getting better at this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jared Michael, you're first.
Is this on? All right. Wyosta Halt. Good afternoon, Chair Simpson, Ranking Member, or excuse me, Ms. McCollum, members of the committee. My name is Jared Michael Erickson. I'm the chairman of the Confederate Tribes of the Colville Reservation. I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify today. The Colville Tribes is a confederation of 12 Aboriginal tribes and bands from across eastern Washington State, northeastern Oregon, and Idaho, and British Columbia. The present-day Colville Reservation is in north central Washington State and was established by executive order in 1872. The Colville Reservation covers almost 1.4 million acres and is the largest Indian reservation in the Pacific Northwest. There's a constant need for additional funding for tribal law enforcement and detention operations. The Colville Tribes understands and appreciates the needs for increased law enforcement personnel in the aftermath of the Supreme Court decision in McGirt versus Oklahoma. We are concerned, however, that the increases that go solely to Oklahoma will result in funding levels to Indian tribes outside of the Oklahoma withering and remaining flat. Going forward, if the committee intends to continue funneling large increases to Oklahoma, it must also provide increases to the rest of Indian country. The Colville Tribes request that the committee provided a $100 million increase for the Criminal Investigations and Police Services account to enable the tribes in all BIA regions to hire more police officers and retain their existing police officers. In 2020, the IHS awarded the Colville Tribes one of the joint venture facility construction projects for a new clinic in Omak, Washington. The Omak clinic is scheduled to open this November. The Colville Tribes had unsuccessfully applied for the joint venture in 2007 and 2014, demonstrating how competitive it is. Under the joint venture program, an Indian tribe pays to build and equip a new health facility, and IHS provides 80% of the recurring staffing costs for the facility for at least 20 years. Section 105L lease, which was talked about earlier, of the Indian Self-Determination Education Assistance Act requires IHS to pay Indian tribes fair market rental when the tribe carries out the 638 functions at a tribally owned facility. Even though the Indian tribes construct and own the facilities in joint venture projects, IHS has not allowed joint venture projects like the OMAC Clinic to be eligible for reimbursement under Section 105L. The The Facilities Appropriations Advisory Board and Advisory Committee to the IHS on facility issues has twice recommended that IHS take steps to make joint venture facilities eligible for Section 105L reimbursements, most recently in December 3rd, 2025, letter to IHS. Congress authorized the joint venture program in 1992, long before modern utilization of the Section 105L program, and there's no legitimate reason to exclude joint venture facilities from the section of 105L program. Our written testimony recommends report language that we would like the committee to include that would direct IHS to consult with those Indian tribes with joint venture projects and report back to the committee on options for joint venture project eligibility for the 105L program. Finally, the Colville Tribes joins the Intertribal Timber Council's request that the committee set aside $20 million in its bill to be distributed by the Secretaries of Agriculture and Interior to agencies on a competitive basis on their assessment of where timber sales can be generated the fastest at the lowest cost of the federal government and best be utilized by the forest products manufacturing sector. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to testify today. Be happy to happy to answer any questions the subcommittee may have.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Well, Nick Pachwai, Klathma Winnishash, Pranashat, Shapatimki, Jerem Takala, Whipum Yanawe, Chief Pachwaipa, Wishashtawak and Chiwanapa, Yakama Nation. Chair Simpson, and of course, ranking member, Ms. Pringer, I guess Ms. Collum had to step away, but thank you for having us today. And my name is Jeremy Takala, and I currently serve on the Yakama Nation Tribal Council that covers 14 tribes and bands of the Yakama Nation. Specifically, I serve as chair in the Fish and Wildlife, Legislative, Law and Order, and our new Energy Committee. We're the largest treaty tribe in the Pacific Northwest. We cover about 10 million acres that we have access to, or more so a third of Washington State, with a current 1.4 million acre reservation. I have submitted a detailed statement for the record, which I will summarize, but first I want to thank you, Chairman Simpson specifically, Ranking Member Pingree, and the members of this committee for continuing to hold these hearings year after year. I know they take up a lot, of time, staff time, but, it's very important and valuable given the nature of the federal and tribal relationship. Yakama Nation views this as a priority, and we do, hope to have this continuation year after year. I appreciate the statements I've heard from you, Chairman Simpson, as our Northwest neighbor who has often said that the government is not going to balance the federal budget on the backs of Native Americans or Indian people with whom the United States has a fiduciary trust relationship. As my people say, those are good words, and with those words, action will happen. When contemplating the cuts that have been recommended by this administration, I respectfully ask that you consider whether Indian tribes have parity with non-tribal governments and their constituents. I ask you to consider existing studies such as the Quiet Crisis, 2003, and Broken Promises, 2018, both undertaken by the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Those studies show that areas ranging from public safety to healthcare, education, to housing, to economic development, and beyond that funding to tribes is not on a parity with the larger society. Perhaps someday we will get there, but until then, it's simply unfair to cut funding for Indian programs, not to mention a violation of the federal government's treaty commitments and trust obligations. We think most of your colleagues would understand this fundamental parity argument and agree that tribes should not bear the brunt of budget cuts. For Yakama Nation, our lands, appraisals have been very, very critical for many federal functions, including leasing and federal trust transactions. The Yakama Nation performed a federal trust function by administering our appraisals program under Public Law 93-638 contract. Current fund appropriate under this 638 contract for Yakama Nation appraisal services only allows for one full-time appraiser. This single appraiser workload is driven by requests directly from BIA's Realty Services section. With only one single appraiser, the Yakama Nation lacks sufficient resources to address a heavy, federally driven appraisal workload. So the Yakama Nation respectfully requests, around $120,000 under our 638 contract to hire a second full-time appraiser. But we're still continuing with our appraisal and valuation services office on a government-to-government basis. We've been successful in developing a model to standardize mass appraisals. Using this model, over 1,000 cases have been accelerated and completed. Continued success depends not only on implementing this mass appraisal model, but also on sufficient staffing within AVSO, the Office of Hearing Adjustments, and the Realty Service section of the BIA process, which is an incredible model. Related to land management, the Yakama Nation's written testimony details the crisis we have in our 650,000-acre forest. The BIA's inability to fill positions at our BIA agency needed to oversee timber sales has resulted in our forestry program, once the pride of Department of Interior, to come to a standstill. We're cutting the vicinity of 20 million board feet when the last forest management plan the BIA adopted called for 143 million board feet. Few timber sales were approved by the BIA last year. Our timber has insect infestations, disease outbreaks, catastrophic wildfires that are more frequent. The lost revenue of jobs, economic damage to our reservation and a larger region are profound. The Yakama Nation is the best manager of our forests, so we are going to 638 contract the entirety of the forestry program on our lands. We would ask that this committee provide the direction to the BIA to ensure that there is sufficient funding to fill all vacant positions BIA has allowed to lapse, and then include funding for transition under the 638 contract for Yakama Nation to take on our own forest. In the area of law enforcement, our written testimony details the fact that we have 1/4 of the officers needed to protect our communities. We have the highest rate of missing and murdered Indigenous women in our region, a surge of violent and property crimes that arise, with different drug trafficking, cartel-related drug activity, including fentanyl. An increase in law enforcement funds is very much needed for the safety of our people and our lands, and I'm very sure you guys hear that over and over again from many tribal leaders. Finally, Simpson, you very well know the Yakama Nation and the 4 Columbia River Treaty Tribes. We are fishing people. We've always relied on salmon. So the Columbia River has obviously had 17 million return of salmon still a year. Now we're lucky to get 2 million on a good year. So over 40 years ago, the Northwest Power and Conservation Council Fish Wildlife Program, created by the Northwest Power Act, set a goal of 5 million returning adults to the Columbia River. So we haven't come close. So further funding must be provided to help restore the fisheries that sustain our way, our region, and the economy. So I want to thank you guys for hearing my testimony. Again, we have written a more detailed testimony. So thank you, Chair Simpson and Ranking Member Pingree.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. We could have a discussion for a long time about salmon and restoring salmon runs in the Pacific Northwest and the Columbia and the Lower Snake River Valley, Lower Snake River. It's something I've been involved in for a number of years of trying to figure out how we're going to do this, and we've tried almost everything to restore them, and it just hasn't worked. The fish that come back to Idaho, being from Idaho, they're going to go extinct if we don't do something. And in fact, I was telling a group yesterday that if it hadn't been for the work of the tribes over the last 20 years or 30 years, those fish would be extinct today. But you have done a tremendous job in making sure that we keep them alive. Now we've got to do more, or they're going to go extinct. So I appreciate your work on that and trying to address that issue. Let me add, you mentioned some report language that you'd like to have us put in our bill.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that language? Is that in your testimony, or?
We can get it to, we can get it to. It's in our
Okay,
further
get us to us.
testimony, yeah.
I don't have a problem putting report language in and asking the department to do something, so get us that language if you would.
Appreciate that.
Ms. Pingree?
Yeah, I apologize for coming in late. I had to meet with a group, and so I won't have a lot of questions for you, but do appreciate your testimony and certainly the concerns that you brought. And it's really a dramatic decline when you talk about the salmon changes. And I know from the East Coast, the challenges of keeping salmon in our rivers is a really big issue. And I also am really distressed to hear that because of staffing issues, the timber sales have stopped. I know how important that is to you. I know how important it is to Washington State. When Representative Kilmer was on this committee, we talked about timber sales pretty much every committee, if you could find a way to work it in. So I just know it's critically important. And so that's one of the things we'll follow up with the department, because it was already challenging there with insufficient staff to do the work that had to be done. And this last year, we've lost a lot more. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Are you anticipating a big fire year this year?
Yes.
Most likely, sir. Chair System, we are probably more likely to see a 4th year of a drought in Washington State. So we're, in preparation. Let's hope and pray that doesn't happen because, timber is something we heavily rely on. And of course, just the access that our tribe members have, and of course, the coordination, with folks that we have back in the state of Washington. So,
Do you guys have concerns about consolidation of the wildfire fighting, the BIA, the Park Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, and the BLM all together in one? And they also want to look at taking Forest Service wildfire fighting and put it into one agency and stuff. Do you guys have concerns about that? And what does that do to BIA wildfire fighting?
I think our concerns are just how that transition will look. I think overall that could be good. There could be some good that comes out of that as far as consolidating those and the funds that come with some of that. It's just the matter of transition. I know we've been given input. Cody Dizel, our executive director, is also the president of ITC. Been given input on how that could be structured and look at. I know Phil Rigdon from Yakima is also on ITC, so we've been given input on how that could be structured and look. But I think it's just going to be a learning curve, and then what that transition looks like from those different agencies combining. So I think it could be a good thing. We just got to make sure we do it right.
Yeah, that's exactly the position I've had on it. Some people think I'm trying to stop it from happening, and I'm not. I just had a lot of questions that I'd like answered before this occurs, and so far we haven't got the answer from, but we're starting to work on it and stuff. I went to a wildfire fighting conference in Las Vegas last week and talked to a lot of these people, and it may end up being the best idea we've ever had, but I don't know yet. You're right. It's how is this going to work, and how is it going to affect these different agencies? And it may be a coordinated effort that is the right thing to do. So, but we need your input on it and the impact that it's going to have, and the concerns that you might have on that as we move forward with this. So anyway, thank you all for being here today, and thank you for the work you've done. And I said, without your work, these salmon wouldn't be in the Columbia and Lower Snake River anymore. And when you look at it, I think the salmon have the most amazing life cycle of any species I've ever seen. And we need to make sure that they remain. So,
we're doing everything we can.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Before we begin our next panel, Congressman Randall of Washington would like to introduce the constituent tribal leaders who are joining us today.
Hello. Thank you, Chairman Simpson and Ranking Member Pingree and subcommittee members. On behalf of the people of Washington's 6th, I want to thank you for the opportunity to introduce 4 tribal nations from my district who are here to testify today. One of the real privileges of representing my community on the Olympic Peninsula is doing so alongside the leadership of 12 federally recognized Indian nations. They lead extraordinary efforts in their communities in the areas of economic development, cultural and language restoration, land use programs, and environmental stewardship, and I am learning every day on this job alongside them. From the Squaxin Island Tribe, we're pleased to welcome Chairman Christopher Peters. Known as the people of the water, the Squaxin are the descendants of Coast Salish people whose ancestral homelands span the inlets of the South Salish Sea. Their leadership in fisheries management, environmental restoration, and community-centered economic development continues to strengthen both tribal and regional resilience. Vice Chair Lonnie Greninger is here on behalf of the Jamestown Squalam tribe. They carry a powerful legacy of perseverance and self-determination. In 1874, tribal citizens purchased land near Dungeness Bay to establish the Jamestown community. This was an extraordinary act of sovereignty during a time when Native people were largely barred from owning land. Today, the tribe is a major partner in regional economic development and healthcare, and that's how I met Vice Chair Greninger, environmental stewardship on the Olympic Peninsula. The Jamestown Healing Clinic is a model of how government can work for its people, and it's serving not only Native people, but people of the entire region. President Guy Capolman is here on behalf of the Quinault Indian Nation. The Quinault Nation is a leader in natural resources management and climate resilience alongside Washington's Pacific Coast. Their reservation includes more than 200,000 acres and miles of critical coastline. They lead one of the nation's most significant climate adaptation efforts as they relocate infrastructure to protect their community from rising seas and tsunami risks. And just over the last few years, we've seen the impact that rising seas have on these coastal communities. Councilwoman Annette Bryan is here on behalf of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, located along Commencement Bay in Tacoma. The Puyallup tribe represents one of the most dynamic urban tribal nations in the country. Through strong economic development, cultural leadership, and environmental restoration of the Salish Sea, the tribe continues to create opportunities and strengthen communities across the region. The tribe's Elders Wellness Center showcases the tribe's cultural respect for elders and is another model of how government can work for its people. These tribal nations are sovereign governments. They are essential partners to Washington State and to the federal government in our government-to-government relationships. As Congress considers critical investments through the appropriations process, it's essential that we uphold our federal trust and treaty responsibilities, as I know you know, and ensure that tribal communities have the resources necessary, not just to survive, but to thrive. I look forward to hearing from these tribal leaders about their federal appropriations priorities, and I urge this committee to give their priorities strong consideration as you start your work on fiscal year 2027 appropriations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Appreciate that. Next panel is Christopher Peters, Lonnie Greninger. I don't know if that's right. Quentin Swanson and Robert de Los Angeles. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know.
Do we sit in order or does it matter?
You can, I'll call you in the way I've got it here.
Sounds good.
How are you doing? Christopher, you're first on my list.
Wonderful. Okay. So obviously you're not saving the best for last. No, I'm just kidding. That's okay. Is this ready to go here?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, Hashlohel and Hawatubes. Good day, and thank you, members of the committee. I really appreciate this time. As my friend Jeremy Takalis said, it's meaningful that you hold this time for us every year. We really appreciate it. You're busy people, and it's a hectic time, so appreciate it. My name is Chris Peters. My indigenous name is Klopsch, and I'm a citizen of the Squaxin Island tribe. It's a small tribe in western Washington. I have the honor of serving the Squaxins as their council chair. I also serve as first vice president on the affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians, and I'm on the executive board of the National Congress of American Indians. We do have a few asks. Our little tribe is also in a rural county called Mason County in western Washington. It has long been underserved in regards to health clinics and health care, not only for us, but for the entire county. Many people who live within the county, including a lot of our tribal members, travel either east to the city of Olympia, Thurston County, or north to Kitsap County and Bremerton for health care, and sometimes that can be quite a drive. We don't have a good urgent care facility. The Squaxin Island tribe has decided to step up to the plate on this, and we want to build a first-class health, a regional health complex that will provide quality health care, urgent care, pharmacy. It'll have a mental health wing. It'll have orthodontia and dental, and it'll also have natural healing. This is essentially shovel-ready. We've got the drawings. We've got everything ready to go, and we're missing the first step is some infrastructure. We're asking for around $6 million to tie into current infrastructure. We need a water line, septic, power, a lift station, and fire hydrants. We're kicking in roads. We just need that infrastructure to come in so we can build this health facility and create healthcare really for the entire area. We are truly strong partners with our local governments. That friendship is very important to us. And we also employ a lot of the community. So again, that healthcare is really important to us, to all of our employees and the people who live around us, not just for the Squaxin people. But this will be important for our Squaxin people as well. Our current healthcare facility is, we're bursting at the seams. We have mental health working out of trailers, essentially. It's not a good place. We have wonderful employees, but it's not a good facility for providing good health care. And we need to take that step. And our people are healing like everyone else. We've got generational trauma, which takes us to our next healing. We're asking for another 1.29 to extend that same septic and water line and power and fire hydrants for a housing development that we're going to be putting in over the next few years. We feel like this next housing development will provide homes, much-needed homes, for so many of our tribal members that are struggling like a lot of people are. And we do have a homeless problem like everyone else. And for us to take this next step in healing and building our culture, bringing back our language in this era of self-determination, putting a healthy neighborhood with a health facility where our people are proud to raise their families and participate in our culture is so important and vital coming into this next era. And like I said, we're partners with Mason County and Thurston County and Kitsap, and we welcome them all to our lands as partners. So those are our priorities. We are also asking for about $900,000 to help with shellfish restoration. As you know, Puget Sound is a hotbed for clams and oysters and geoduck and mussels, and we participate in that. It's something we've been doing for 10,000 years. But harvesting shellfish isn't just going out and harvesting it. It's like in forestry, you can clear cut it. It takes management, it takes scientists, it takes restoration, it takes a lot of work. And for us to truly do this in a good and responsible way, we need that management. And we have wonderful people working for us, but we have a little less than $1 million shortfall every year to do this responsibly. So we're asking for that as well. I will concede the rest of my time. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Lonnie?
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to scoot in a little closer. Oh, good afternoon. Thank you for having us here, Chair Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree. My name is Yuchsia Lonnie Grinnell-Greninger from the Jamestown S'Klallam tribe, located in the beautiful Sequim, Washington. The Olympic Peninsula, I might be biased, but I also know I'm right. It's one of the most beautiful places out there. No shade to any other tribes here, but really glad to be here in Washington, D.C. Thank you for the opportunity and for hearing out our tribes for the last 2 days. This is a really important time for us, and I acknowledge that it takes a lot of time and effort to sit and listen with your ears and your heart for 2 days straight, so thank you again. I want to spend the next few minutes, the short time we have together, just bringing up 2 particular issues for Jamestown. I think the theme you're going to hear amongst all of us Washington tribes, including Yakama and Colville, is we do have strong partnerships across all of Indian country in Washington state, where I'm going to say that we widen the longhouse. If you've heard the term before of widening the tent pegs, we widen our longhouses so that we include the rest of our non-native family members, friends, and community members. So every decision that we're making is not just about our own people. Yes, we do have that priority, but we think about those that we're serving in that greater community. And it's no different for Jamestown. And so I'm really excited to talk about 2 issues that we could use your help and partnership in, and from what we believe is a sacred duty for both of us as sovereigns. And so the first is through the amazing opportunity of co-management with Fish and Wildlife Service, we are co-managing 2 national wildlife refuges in our area that are located in our ancestral territory. And that is the Dungeness Wildlife Refuge and the Protection Island. And those were originally part of a 6-member refuge complex. And so now we operate 2 of those of the 6. And so we're really excited about that. And under our leadership, we have been able to leverage funds to boost our volunteerism by at least twice. We have reopened the public bathrooms there on the Dungeness Wildlife Refuge, and we're continuing with habitat restoration on Protection Island. Though it is historically has been closed to the public, it still is. We're still trying to figure out animal protections on there, and as well as more habitat restoration, and we're looking at the green crab infestations as well. So we've been looking at a lot of other resources that we have not been able to obtain from the federal government. But I would like to note on that particular agreement, of that 6 refuge maritime complex, 65% of that operating budget was for the Dungeness Wildlife Refuge alone. We, through our negotiations, have been only able to obtain 33% of that funding to operate the 2. So we are definitely putting in our resources, whether that's funding, relationships, anything that we can to help meet that gap, but we could really use partnership in that. And so the ask there is requesting $800,000 annually to sustain that successful co-management agreement, and then also to boost that partnership that we have with you to be able to keep that sacred duty going. It's not just for our own people, but we open it to the public. And so there's so many people that come from across the nation to enjoy these spaces, and we want to be able to maintain it with the best success possible. The second ask for my remaining time here is we need to relocate our natural resources lab and office more inland. Right now, it is sitting right on our shores, and that is designated by FEMA as a 100-year floodplain and a tsunami zone. So we want to move that upland, and we need help with that. We did manage to get an award for $3.9 million from the BIA, which was amazing, but unfortunately, it was stalled through OMB and an executive action. So we are asking for an immediate release of those funding dollars so that we can do this for the safety of not only our own people and our staff, but this also, I'm going to tie it back to the public. Our entire tribal campus is open to the public, and we love that. We want people to come to our campus, see our buildings, see the architecture, see the culture in action, see our government buildings in action. And so it is a free place for everyone to walk through. It has the Olympic Discovery Trail through it. People can walk, bike, come and enjoy our Christmas light show. I encourage you to come up at Christmas time. It is a place to be, and so we love that about our land. And so when we have these buildings that are near a floodplain, the public is right there. So we want people to feel safe physically. And also these office spaces that host our staff, it's also about making sure that we are careful about shellfish toxin. And our lab space is right there in that building. And as we're putting shellfish into our local economy, people are there at the restaurants eating our gooey duck and our clams and our crab, our fish. We want to make sure that everything is safe. So it's not only physical safety, it's food safety as well, and increasing that public trust when we are having our public in and out of our campus spaces. So with that, I will concede the rest of my time. Look forward to questions and look forward to further partnering, and really, again, thank you for the time.
Did you say gooey duck?
I did, yes, gooey duck.
We got to change the name of that.
I know. It's an interesting name.
Yeah. Quentin, you're next.
Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Quentin Swanson. I serve as chairman of the Shoalwater Bay Indian Tribe, located on the Pacific coast of Washington State along Willapa Bay. I come before you not just as a tribal leader, but as someone who has lived my entire life in my community. I have seen firsthand what is at stake for our people. For Shoalwater, the threat isn't theoretical. It's immediate and it's ongoing. Our entire reservation sits in a tsunami zone. A single event would wipe out our homes, our government, our economy, the Shoalwater way of life. At the same time, we're losing between 100 to 130 feet of coastline each year, one of the worst eroding coastlines on the West Coast. Over time, we've already lost over 2 miles of land. Right now, we're relying on aging berms and embankments as our only line of defense. One of those berms is currently in critical condition, and the most concerning part is where that failure is happening. The most vulnerable section sits directly adjacent to Tokeland Road, which is the only road in and out of our community. It also runs right alongside residential homes. If that berm fails at that location, which the Army Corps says that it could, it would not mean just flooding, it would immediately cut off access to our entire community. That means no emergency services in or out, no evacuation route, no way for our kids to get to school or for our elders to get access to critical medical care. Families living right next to that failure point would be put at immediate risk. This isn't a distant possibility. This is a known weak point, and it's getting worse. We are grateful for the previous investments by the Army Corps of Engineers to repair one embankment, but without urgent funding to reinforce and repair this remaining berm, we are one major storm or one bad season away from a serious failure that could isolate and endanger our tribe. This is why short-term investment in berm repair is just as critical as our long-term relocation efforts. Our long-term solution is clear. We must relocate our community to higher ground. We've already taken action. We've purchased almost 4,000 acres of upland property and began the early stages of development. But this isn't a small project. It requires building an entirely new community from the ground up, including roads, utilities, housing, a school, and essential services. We're doing everything we can with the resources available to us, but we're reaching our limits. At the same time, we're facing declining gaming revenue, which further reduces our ability to fund this effort ourselves. This is why federal partnership isn't just helpful, it's a necessity. One of the biggest challenges we face isn't just funding, but how that funding is delivered. Right now, federal programs operate in silos. We've received support from agencies like DOT and HUD, but those funds come with different timelines, different requirements, different restrictions, and no coordination. For example, we received housing funding before transportation funding, but without roads, we cannot build homes. So we're left waiting while costs rise and risks continue to grow. This is why the TERRA Act is so important. The TERRA Act would create a coordinated, interagency approach that allows tribes like ours to access and align federal resources efficiently. It reduces duplication, streamlines reporting, and most importantly, allows us to move at the pace that our situation demands. This isn't about new funding. It's about making existing funding actually work. We strongly urge this subcommittee to support and advance the TERRA Act. We thank Chairman Simpson and Representative Elzy for already supporting this legislation. In addition, we're asking for increased investment in tribal disaster resilience programs, and critically, funding for the Army Corps of Engineers to repair and reinforce the failing berm protecting our community, especially at the Tokeland Road corridor, where failure would have immediate and severe consequences. We also want to highlight an urgent economic issue, the Tokeland Marina. Sediment buildup has made the marina dangerously shallow. At low tide, vessels are stranded. This impacts our shellfish operations, which hold over 3 million oysters and are valued at over $1 million. It also affects commercial fishing, recreational use, and the broader regional community. Without immediate dredging, we risk losing a critical economic driver for our tribe and the surrounding community. At its core, this is about responsibility. The federal government has a trust obligation to protect tribal lands and tribal people. Right now, we're doing everything we can to protect our community, but we can't do it alone. We're not asking for a handout, we're asking for partnership. We're asking for coordination and tools to build a safe and sustainable future for our people. Shoalwater has always been resilient, and with your support, we'll continue to be. Thank you for your time, and I welcome you to visit our community and see this work firsthand. Thank you, Masi.
Thank you. Robert?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Simpson and Ranking Member Pingree, and the members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Robert D. Los Angeles. I'm the longstanding council member of the Snoqualmie Indian Tribe in my 5th term on the council. I'm currently serving as chairman. I was born in Washington State and raised on a small farm in Woodinville, Washington. After graduating high school, I served in the U.S. Army from 1972 to 1976, including a year in Korea. Following my military service, I worked in steel trades for 30 years, including 17 years as a superintendent. I was part of the tribe's effort to successfully regain federal recognition in 1999. And as a member of the Tribal Council, my focus has been on protecting the Snoqualmie tribe's irreplaceable cultural heritage and sovereignty. It is an honor to speak to you here today on behalf of the people and share the pressing issues confronting our tribe. Snoqualmie Falls is a majestic 268-foot waterfall located in the heart of western Washington state. The falls is surrounded by lands and waters that are rooted in historical, ancestral Snoqualmie Indian tribe and holding deep sacred significance to our people. The falls are one of the most sacred places within our lands, central to our history, spirituality, and identity since time immemorial. In our creation story, the mist from the falls connects worlds, prayers are offered, and blessings are delivered. Snoqualmie Falls continues to be desecrated by Puget Sound Energy hydroelectric plant, which has been in operation since 1898. PSC controls the river flow by diverting water, interrupting the sacred cycle of water, completing its journey over the falls to the plunge pool below, where it transforms into sacred mist. This desecration blocks the creation of the mist that carries our prayers to the Creator. In 2020, low-altitude helicopter and fixed-wing flights began increasing over the Snoqualmie Falls. These flights are desecrating our sacred site, interrupting our religious ceremonies, and adversely impacts our cultural resource and adjacent trust land. Despite over the 3 years of engagement and meetings with the FAA and the Department of Transportation, they take no action to protect our sacred site. Unfortunately, the FAA is the only federal entity with the authority to regulate airspace and protect the Snoqualmie Falls from this desecration. First, we asked the subcommittee to include funding in the FY 2027 budget for the sacred site protection that would give the BIA the ability to assist tribes in defending and preserving their sacred sites. Second, we also request the subcommittee to support the establishment of a pilot program and an interagency federal task force, including the DOI, the DOT, and the FAA, to study airspace threats to tribal sacred sites and work collaboratively with tribal nations to implement protections for these irreplaceable places. Third, lastly, I encourage every member of the subcommittee to visit the sacred Snoqualmie Falls, to experience its majesty, and to understand the gravity of what the Snoqualmie tribe is fighting to protect. There are three more important issues our tribe and that I've included in my written testimony that I regret I won't have time to discuss in detail during our oral testimony. They are first, the Environmental Protection Agency's February 12, 2026 final rule rescinding the 2009 greenhouse gas endangerment finding and repealing the greenhouse gas emission standards for light, medium, and heavy duty on highway vehicles and engines. Second, the advanced appropriations for Indian Health Services. And third, recent Medicaid reforms to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that will impact tribes. In closing, I want to thank you again for the opportunity to testify today. The issues I have outlined are critical importance to the Snoqualmie Indian tribe and the tribes across the nation. I'm happy to answer any questions the subcommittee may have. Thank you for.
Thank you. I saw a program on TV not too long ago. It seemed like I think it was on public television on the falls. Beautiful area. You all come from a beautiful part of this country. Let me ask you a couple questions. You co-manage wildlife refuges. How does that work? Co-manage is a word that kind of, I don't know what it means. Who's in charge?
Great question. Is this on? Okay. Great question. So co-management, it is that we are co-managing together. So we have staff from Fish and Wildlife and staff from Jamestown in the same building at the Wildlife Refuge site. And we co-manage through biologists. So we have folks studying the animal life and the plant life, making sure that we're doing the right restoration efforts, management efforts, and then also the recreation impacts. So we work on those things together. But I would say that Jamestown takes the lead in public education, giving tours. We're the ones that have taken over the volunteer programs now, and they are the ones that help with education on site and providing just anything from like animal or plant life history. It could be even some tribal history so that folks know the land, because this refuge is actually on one of our graveyard sites. But signage, so educational signage, that was from the previous signage was from Fish and Wildlife, but we are taking it over and putting our own spin on it. And I would say that the overall care, now we are taking the lead. So that would be the best way that I would describe it is yes, we are partners and equal, but we are stepping forward to say we're taking more ownership of this because it's our land, and it makes sense that we would have that particular value system attached to it.
Do you ever run into differences of opinion on what ought to be done on something? And if you do, who makes the final decision?
That's a great question. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Really, it comes down to Fish and Wildlife, if I'm speaking correctly. I could follow up on that question. But normally when we are wanting, like, for example, the signage project, it's Fish and Wildlife who is saying, okay, we're good with this, or here's our input. So I think ultimately there is some decision-making that still leans heavily on Fish and Wildlife, but they are needing to take our input into.
The reason I ask these questions on that is that there's a Camas Prairie Wildlife Refuge in Idaho, and the state of Idaho has said they'd kind of like to take it over, or they'd like to get it from the federal government. And I've been kind of saying, well, you know, the Chauvin tribe, This is their traditional lands and stuff. Why not let them manage it? And they'd like to and stuff.
Yes.
So I think it'd be a great idea to give it,
Yes.
the management of it to the show bands.
I would
I
definitely
think they'd do
encourage
a better
any
job
tribe.
than
Yeah.
than the state of Idaho or
Yes.
the Fish and Wildlife Service. So
Absolutely. If there's an opportunity for a tribe to co-manage, we would say yes. And if tribes or states want to come take a look at our model, we're happy to talk folks through that.
good.
Yeah.
Dredging the marina. Where is that on the list of the Army Corps? I mean, they have a plan, you know, of what they do and when they do it and stuff like that. I serve on the Energy and Water Subcommittee too, and was chairman of that for a number of years. But where's the list? Where is it on the list of stuff? And where is it, the berm that you need repaired? Is that on a list somewhere that we?
Yeah, so the seawall, which the Army Corps has rebuilt 3 separate times since 2012, they've invested a considerable amount. This most recent investment was through the bipartisan infrastructure law, and it was $41 million that they invested back in 2022. That berm has been holding up very well, but there's a separate berm that's directly adjacent to Tokeland Road, which hasn't nearly got as much attention. From my understanding, there hasn't been any work on it done within my lifetime. And so we have had a large section of that berm which has failed. Army Corps came and assessed it about 3 weeks ago. They determined that they could do a temporary Band-Aid fix through emergency funds, but that a long-term fix through the 103L program could take 3 to 5 years. So on one hand, they're telling us this isn't, the next king tide could breach this, but you're going to have to wait 3 to 5 years for an actual fix. So I don't know where it's at on their priority list, but it is on their radar.
Okay.
And in terms of dredging, they've been dredging every year, but this last year, I'm not sure the exact why, but this last year they weren't able to secure a permit. I believe it had something to do with funding limitations. I can look more into that and get back to you.
Okay. Yeah, it is, getting things done sometimes through the Army Corps of Engineers takes some time sometimes. What district is this in?
District 19,
Yeah.
the 19th.
Okay, okay. I'll check on it when we
Thank you.
do our funding for the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff.
I appreciate it.
Ms. Pingree?
Thank you all. Really, lots of interesting testimony, and I appreciate having you all here. Chair Peters, hopefully we can help a little bit with the infrastructure. It sounds very good that you're doing that. Healthcare complex that would serve the whole region. We know when we've heard about that from other tribes, it's so beneficial in rural communities. So really seems like an important thing to be able to do. And I appreciate hearing from some of you and your tribe in particular, Chair Swanson, about the relocation efforts. I know we've heard about some of that before, and it's sort of fallen off our radar screen. You're the first group to really talk about that today, but I know with a lot of the Alaska tribes, that's really a pressing issue. I represent Maine, and so we have one tribe, the Passamaquoddies, that's already dealing with a couple of challenges to their sewer system and an elder care center, and so it's just a really big pressing issue that I think we need more focus on. And I was trying under the last administration to get them, I know you talked about the Terra Act, I'll make sure I look into that, but just sort of this comprehensive approach to it, because the idea of moving a community, which some have had to be moved in Alaska already, is obviously very expensive, but it requires a lot of coordination. So everything that you had to say about that was really helpful, and I think we have to push on that again, and maybe we can get some language into the appropriations bill that really specifies that that we have to have this more comprehensive approach on it, because it's out of our control and it's happening, and we can pretend it's not, but it is, and you're already in the middle of experiencing it. And Vice Chair Greninger. Yep. So we have a green crab problem too. If you solve it, let us know. People are always trying to cook it up and figure out some way, like maybe we can eat them out of here, but it's just, there's an awful lot of them. They're just nasty little things, so we need to get rid of them. Yeah, I want to get us talking about green crabs.
We're trying to be creative.
Yeah. But that money that you're looking for, the $3.9 million that you need to relocate your lab, were you asked by the department to rewrite your application and change some of the language in it, or what's been the holdup that you know of? I mean, we'd love to try to free that money, because it's terrible that it's already meant to be with you and it's not there.
I will follow up specifically just the general understanding was an executive action and then the OMB memorandum that followed.
Okay, and so far as you know, it's just blocked. No one said to
It's just
you,
blocked,
Just
yeah.
rewrite your application. Okay, well, we can look into that and see if we can't free it up because, you know, it's hard enough to get funds, but once they're already promised to you and they get stuck somewhere, that's just an outrage. And I'm sure you're increasing, you know, the costs are increasing the longer you wait for it. And thank you very much for your testimony. Appreciate it. I don't know much about that question you brought up about the regulated airspace, but it certainly seems like a reasonable concern. It would be interesting if we did a little bit of work on that. And I, too, am worried about the endangerment, and so I appreciate hearing that from a tribe, because I think you are really thinking about the front lines of how this will impact all of us. And also worried about the Medicaid impact on all tribes, because we're going to experience some cuts at the end of the year, and so many of the Indian Health Service funding, you know, pools come from Medicaid as well. And so if we see some cuts there, that's going to be a problem for everybody. So just really appreciate all the things you brought to us today, and thank you for coming all the way across the country.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let me just say before you go, I agree with Representative Pingree. It is frustrating to all of us when we have appropriated funds that are held up by OMB. It is a challenge. I've had that happen in Idaho. Nez Perce had a fish hatchery, and they withheld half the funds. So what, you operate a fish hatchery for half a year? It's just stupid. And we were able to free that up. But that's certainly something that I know the Appropriations Committee is working on and trying to address that issue. You, in your testimony, wanted money for the infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Do you have if you get the infrastructure in place, what are the plans to build a facility?
Yeah, wonderful. We are putting together a capital stack for it. We've already got the drawings, everything in place, but it's going to be a mix of funding through some capital that we already have grown. We're working with our banks to get loans and some grants. And so we have put the money together to build the health center. And just to note, there is a great success story at Jamestown. They're the ones who were the first ones, I think, that did this, and it's doing a wonderful job, and it's something that we're hoping to model, the work that Chairwoman Greninger and her chair, Ron Allen, did, so.
Great. And I'm going to get up and see the falls. I really want to see it.
Let us know. We'll go ahead and, make sure we have room for you.
I would think I would have spent a lot more time up on the peninsula, because it's one of the beautiful parts of the country, but I'll get there.
And come see our Christmas
Maybe
lights.
we'll bring Okay, thank you all. I appreciate your testimony, and thanks for being here today. You bet. Guy Copeman, William Alil, and Louis Ungaro. Is that right?
It's Kapoman.
It's what?
It's Kapoman, yeah.
Kapoman, okay.
Kapoman, there you go. That happens a lot, though.
I got the first names right, though.
There you go, there you go. That's good.
Okay, Guy, you're first.
First off, Onoguito, Hench, Nachaktua, Quinault. My name is Guy Kapoman. I'm the president of the Quinault Indian Nation. Chairman Simpson and Ranking Member Pingree and the members of the subcommittee. We know you've had a long sit these last few days, and we really appreciate all the work that you do and all the decisions that you have to make. And we thank you for this opportunity to testify here today. Like I said, I serve as the president of the Quinault Nation. I'm going on my second term, the last year of my second term here. The Quinault Nation is a reservation located in the Olympic Peninsula, 220,000 acres of land in the Olympic Peninsula, and we have about 4,676 tribal members. We have some important issues we wanted to discuss here today. First one is we have frozen tribal electrification program funding In 2025, we received those funds, $7.6 million under the Tribal Electrification Program to help us construct the Tohola Village Energy Park. And it's shovel-ready, all the infrastructure work has been done. We have blueprints for homes, we've put out bids for homes, and we want to do this all simultaneously. And these funds have been frozen since we've received those funds. So we'd like some sort of review and release of those funds with clear guidance on how we go about using these funds. You know, it's one of those things where other tribes talked about they've received funds as well, and you know they've been frozen by OMB and they can't do their work. And it's a part of our relocation project as well. Quinault has two villages, the village of Tohola and Kitz, and both of them are in the tsunami zone. And we've worked for countless years to get funds and to plan and to work on moving our villages to higher ground. All the site work has been done, infrastructure work has been done. The bids have been put out. We're ready to contract with people to build homes. But at the same time, some of these funds are being held up, or they got so much red tape behind them that we have to submit every plan to the BIA for them to approve, which takes, you know, so much time. And the time frame to build in the Pacific Northwest is small because it rains all the time. So we would need some sort of help to expedite that process. And we received $25 million 3 years ago to help with our relocation in the village of Tohola. But our main budget for both Tohola and Kitz is about $400 million. And, you know, if we can find some other funds to help move along our process, you know, we would appreciate that. $50 million in 27 would definitely help us secure a good position moving forward with these relocation projects. Tribal health care, of course, the recent policy change to Medicaid, which is going to go into place in 27, that's really going to impact our wellness center that we built in Grays Harbor. Aberdeen, Washington, we built a wellness center there to help not only tribal members but non-members as well. And those Medicaid impacts are really going to hit us hard, not only us but other tribes. And I'm not sure how we remedy that, but I wanted to bring that up here. The other thing, healthcare service funding, advanced appropriation for fiscal year 28. We're asking for that advanced appropriations for that be a minimum of $5 billion for 28 to help tribes to plan ahead and take care of our tribal members' health care. I know my time's running out here, but you talked about harvest, forestry and harvest there. And what we're finding is Section 106 guidelines are holding up a lot of tribes. And the Quinault tribes only allocated $100,000 to take care of that need. And the estimated cost is $2 million per year and to cover that. So it's holding up our revenue, our timber revenue, because our harvest is held back and because of the Section 106. And so if there's a way to help us out with funding there, $2 million to help in that process, we would appreciate that. I know I'm running out of time here, so thank you for this opportunity to testify here today, and I'm open for questions as well.
Let's see here. Now it's on. All right. Thank you, Chair Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, and other distinguished members of the subcommittee. I'm Bill Isle, Chairman of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe in Southwest Washington. We have a small reservation 16 miles north of Portland. Started out 156 acres, now growing to 300 acres. We're in the process of nation building. We have our economic development base, but now we need tribal governance center, public safety, other facilities. And I'm talking generally about 4 areas: healthcare, public safety, road infrastructure, and water infrastructure. And so I do want to also thank our fellow leaders here too for voicing their needs too. It's universal across the country. We have self-governance compacts with IHS to provide health care from our 4 clinics in Vancouver, Longview, DuPont, and Tukwila. That's our vast service area, 100 miles of I-5 basically. We serve thousands of natives and non-natives as well. We provide basic health care, mental health, state-of-the-art drug treatment, and our ability to provide these services depends upon the Medicaid, as Chair Capoman mentioned, but IHS and adequate federal health care workforce. There's one person that does all of the 638 contracts for the nation, and so appropriations for IHS falls short of meeting the health care needs of Native people and contribute to poor health for Native Americans. We urge the subcommittee to significantly increase IHS funding levels to provide mandatory funding for contract health support and to continue providing advance appropriations. All are essential to meet the federal trust obligation to provide health care for Native Americans. Next, it's critical that funding for law enforcement and public safety needs, which exceeds now $3.5 billion on a need basis, we're just far exceeds the current level of funding. Our tribal police must patrol a large service area covering the reservation, as well as our other non-reservation properties and several neighboring communities. We're often the first one to respond. Calls increase every year, and we need to hire more officers and meet the need for that growth. Currently, public safety operates out of 2 modular trailers with 19 officers and the tribal court in those trailers. Tribal police do not have office space, detention processing area, secure evidence storage, or holding cells. Our cruisers are aging and need replacement. More federal funding is needed to help with these basic law enforcement needs and protect our members in the community we serve. We ask that you significantly increase 27 appropriations for BIA public safety. And funding for BIA roads. Like many tribes, we face significant road safety issues on the reservation. We have major congestion, traffic challenges on our roadways that connect our local community, and as well as the reservation and Interstate 5 that passes through our reservation. The northwest portion of our reservation lacks a safe route when there is congestion for the needs of emergency responders and others that are using the road. BIA roads have been underfunded for decades, and available funding is nowhere near to meet the plan and the construction and improvements that we need for those roads. The same applies across Indian country. Additional appropriations for BIA are absolutely necessary to address safety and traffic challenges and support economic development on the reservation. And finally, water infrastructure. Our ability to engage in additional economic development on the reservation is limited by existing water and wastewater infrastructure. Our wastewater treatment facility is operating at full capacity and cannot support additional growth. More federal funding for water and wastewater infrastructure through IHS and EPA programs would help protect water resources, ensure safe and sanitary wastewater disposal, and facilitate our economic development and growth. I appreciate your time today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, but thank you very much.
Red light's on. Yes. Thank you, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, and the members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Louis Ungaro. I serve on the Muckleshoot Tribal Council. I also chair the Tribe's School Commission. The Muckleshoot Tribe signed the Treaty of Medicine Creek in 1854 and the Treaty of Point Elliott in 1855. Through these treaties, our tribe reserved the right to govern ourselves and manage our resources. These treaties are not just historical documents, they are binding federal law, and they carry ongoing responsibility for the United States. Today, I'd like to share the priorities for the fiscal year 27 Interior Appropriations Bill. These priorities support Native education and the protection of salmon in Puget Sound. First, I would like to talk about the tribal school. We operate the Muckleshoot Tribal School, which serves Native students from kindergarten through high school. The school combines strong academic instruction with Muckleshoot culture, language, and history. Our goal is to prepare our students for success in today's world while helping them stay connected to who they are as Muckleshoot people. The school opened in 2009 and now serve about 470 students. We are proud of the progress of our students have made. In 2017, our on-time graduation rate was 42%. For the 24-25 school year, the rate has grown more than 75%. That progress reflects hard work of our students, our teachers, and our families. Our school also provides programs that support the whole child. Students learn Muckleshoot language, culture, take part in environmental education in the Tamanamas Forest, participate in leadership development, college readiness programs. These programs help prepare our young people to lead our tribe into the future. However, the school is already over capacity. When the school was designed, the Bureau of Indian Education based the size of the tribe's population at that time. Those estimates did not account for the projected growth. Today, our enrollment has already reached the building's capacity. Looking ahead, our projected school age population could grow more than 1,000 students in the next 10 years. That would be more than double the number in current facility was built to serve. For this reason, we urge the subcommittee to prioritize funding for school construction in Indian Country. Tribal population growth must be properly considered when new schools are planned so that our students have a safe, adequate learning space. Second, we ask for continued support for culturally rooted education programming through the Bureau of Indian Education. Programs that support language revitalization, cultural learning, and essential to our students' success at the Muckleshoot Tribal School. These programs help our young people strengthen their identity and stay connected to their community. We encourage continued investment in programs that support culture, language, locally directed education. And finally, I'd like to speak about Puget Sound. For the Muckleshoot people, salmon are central to our culture, to our treaty rights, and to our way of life. When salmon decline, it affects our traditions, our health, and our communities. The Puget Sound ecosystem is also home to the southern resident killer whales, which depend on salmon for survival. These whales are now at the risk of extinction. Through EPA's Puget Sound program, the Muckleshoot Tribe receives federal support for the research and restoration projects that help rebuild salmon populations. Continued investment in this program is critical for protecting the ecosystems and the communities that rely on it. One final note, I would like to ask the full committee for assistance with fisheries disaster funding. The Muckleshoot Tribe requested federal assistance for fishery disaster suffered by our fishers in 2017 and 2019. The Secretary of Commerce approved the disaster in 2023 in the amount of $1.2 million. However, the spend plan has been stuck at the OMB for almost 2 years. Until the OMB releases the funds, our fishers continue to suffer. Anything that the committee can do to help the release of the disaster funding forward would be greatly appreciated. In my closing, thank you for the opportunity to share the priorities of the Muckleshoot Tribe. We appreciate the subcommittee continued support for tribal education and for the protection of our natural resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for your testimony. Thanks for being here today. Yeah, the issue of funds being withheld is a challenge, for sure. And it's a conversation that we've all had with OMB over the last year and stuff. And I'm sure it will continue, that conversation, but we'll try to get appropriated funds released as they should be. How many tribes are on the peninsula, Olympic Peninsula up there? There's a bunch of tribes, isn't there?
29?
29 federally recognized tribes
Yeah, in the whole state.
in the whole state of Washington. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, they're about right. There's about 8 on the Olympic Peninsula there.
I'm interested in your energy park. So what kind of energy are you doing?
Well, we wanted to do a solar array
Okay.
that would help offset costs for the homeowners. And we had some plans developed and different studies done on the viability of it and all of that. And so, yeah, that's what we're looking at.
I know that the Nez Perce did a energy park, if you would, in Lapaway, Idaho and stuff. For I guess it's working great. I haven't talked to the chairman for a while, but they say it's working great up there.
Good.
So. Yeah. Okay. Ms. Pingree?
Well, thank you all for your testimony. It's been fascinating to hear from the Washington tribes, and I concur with the chair. We will do whatever we can to move forward. I don't know if that was if they made a decision because they didn't want to support solar, or if it's just, funding that's blocked because a lot of these funds get blocked. So certainly, given the challenges you have with relocation and the huge needs you have for resources, we'll try to do whatever we can. We were talking to the last group of tribes. You probably were in the room. I'm just deeply concerned that we're not doing enough comprehensive kind of effort on how to help those tribes that do have to move from coastal communities to make sure, you're getting the resources that you need at the same time and able to really do this. It's such a huge endeavor, and I appreciate all that you've got to go through. So, appreciate the concerns that you've brought up as well, and also that block funding that you said for disaster. That's a long time to wait for the fisheries that suffered these disasters quite a long time ago. So, yeah. So I'll put those on my list and just see if we can push in any way possible. But thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the challenges that, as Ms. Pingree just pointed out, is that oftentimes we don't know why the money is blocked, and we can't get answers for it. And that's the question, So we'll keep digging and keep trying.
Making a list.
Yeah, making a list.
We appreciate it.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you.
Please come see us.
We'll do that.
Thank you.
Bill, good to see you.
Annette Bryan?
Wish Chairman Peters was here. You did save the best Washington for last.
That's exactly right. You're up.
It's ready?
Yep.
Hat Slahale, Se'iyab de Ishad, Annette Bryan Seatsta, Spialapabs Chud, Chairman and members of the subcommittee. I'm Annette Bryan. I'm a councilwoman for the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, and I'm just 6 months into my 4th three-year term. The tribe, and we would like to thank you for taking 2 days of your busy schedules to meet with us. It's not lost on us tribal leaders, the time that it takes, and we do appreciate that. And I want to raise my hands to you guys for spending the time with us these last 2 days. The Puyallup Tribal Council is responsible for providing services to more than 6,000 enrolled tribal members, and we have over 25,000 members of approximately 355 federally recognized tribes who utilize our services in our very urban area. Today I'm going to focus, I have a lot to say, and I have a written testimony that I've provided, but I wanted to focus on the 4 corners of our community: our healthcare programs, our public safety programs, our natural resource programs, and our educational programs. Beginning with healthcare, we want to thank the committee for providing advance appropriations for the Indian Health Service. The recent government shutdown underscores the continued need for this. With the advanced appropriations, our healthcare systems was able to continue and operate uninterrupted to meet the needs of all of our patients. The tribe has long been a leader in healthcare. We had the first 638 contract in IHS in the nation in 1976. The tribe operates a comprehensive ambulatory care program providing care to Native American population in Pierce County, Washington. The current patient load exceeds 9,000 patients. There are no Indian Health Service hospitals in the Portland area, so all specialties and hospital care is paid for out of our Purchased Referral Care, or PRC, allocation to the Puyallup Tribal Health Authority. These allocations remain inadequate to meet the actual needs of our members. We urge the committee to provide increased funding for PRC. A top priority of our tribe has long been public safety and justice. We do have a jail that was funded with federal funds. It's successful. We invite you to come out and see the work that we were able to do with federal dollars anytime. However, the lack of financial resources is a significant barrier for us to provide public safety and services in Indian country, so I associate myself with the remarks of all the Washington tribes that came before me. The Bureau of Indian Affairs only provides 8% of our law enforcement programs funding. So we're lucky to have the resources to supplement, but most tribes do not. Moreover, we're, like every law enforcement agency in the country, are having a difficult time recruiting and retaining qualified law enforcement professionals. And we are working with the state of Washington to try to pass some laws to get parity in tribal police retirement, so it's in line with what the state gives. So we are trying to solve some of those issues through legislation. We need to be able to provide adequate compensation and ensure that they are properly equipped. So we urge funding in that area as well. Beyond the need to secure our people's health and safety, the tribe has treaty responsibilities to manage its natural resources for uses beneficial to the tribal membership and the regional communities. We do have a Puyallup River that runs. We have the Port of Tacoma, we have I-5, we have a very, very urban reservation, so our tasks here are difficult and mighty. Despite our diligent program efforts, the fisheries resource is degrading and economic losses are incurred by native and non-native fishermen in the surrounding communities. And I did just want to add that I think the fish, the salmon, are the new canaries in the coal mine. And we really take it seriously. We are river people and we are salmon people. We're doing everything we can to restore our natural resources and could use help in funding in those areas. We support the calls for increased funding for rights protection implementation funding to ensure compliance with federal court orders through effective tribal self-regulatory and co-management systems. We co-manage a lot as well. This increased funding would provide additional money for harvest management, habitat protection, stock enforcement, shellfish enforcement, wildlife, and other natural resource management needs. As the Aboriginal owners and guardians of our homelands and waters, it's essential that adequate funding is provided to allow tribes to carry out our inherent stewardship of these resources. Related to this, the Puyallup tribe continues to operate several salmon hatcheries that benefit fisheries to the whole Pacific Northwest and the Puget Sound. We want to thank the committee for its continued support on this program. Finally, the tribe operates a pre-K 12 to 12th grade Chief Leschi school with a student enrollment of 773 students. The BIE programs have not even had a cost of living in recent years. Thus, we are forced to do the same job with less money. This means less pay for our teachers, less fuel for our school buses, and less food to feed our students. We would ask that the subcommittee provide at least 10% increase in funding for the BIE schools operation to meet this deficit. Hoyef Chud.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. We did say the best for it's a lot to cover. Obviously, I'm very interested in salmon and what you're doing with salmon. And you operate how many hatcheries?
Let me look.
It was a few.
Oh. I don't want to say without, sorry, I'm nervous.
It was like 4 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a few hatcheries. but
Yeah.
they're obviously important. And, you know, there's been some debate on how effective hatcheries are, whether they're damaging wild salmon or not, because they have diseases and stuff like that when they're raised. And it's a challenging time.
Yeah, I think our biologists do a really good job, and
Yeah.
we have shown that our efforts to put new salmon into the system provide returns after the years that they go up and spawn and come
Yeah.
back. So we have some data that we could share.
Yeah. Ms. Pingree?
Yeah, thank you very much for your testimony, and really interesting to hear the challenges that you're facing is so similar to many of the tribes. And I appreciate your thoughts that, you know, salmon are the canaries in the coal mine, and we're just really trying hard to hang on to them, but there's so many factors, I think, at play here, and we have to deal with all of them, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
Temperature, water, you know, so many other things, so.
Yeah, and the federal funding is critical for us to, you know, continue the work that we're doing, trying to do, trying to stay ahead of it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for being here, really appreciate
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, thank you. Are they here now? Okay. Derek Bowman, Joe Davis. We're actually running a little ahead of time, which we never do.
That means I get 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Derek, you're first.
Chairman, ranking member, and members of the subcommittee. Close it. All right, start over. Chairman, ranking member, and members of the subcommittee, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Derek Bowman, and I serve as an elected tribal council member for the Bear River Band of the Roanoke Rancheria in Humboldt County, California. I come here before you today in a good way. I'm here to speak about the critical appropriations issue affecting our tribe and many others across Indian country, the urgent need for sustained equitable funding for tribal law enforcement. This includes proposed legislation such as the Parity for Tribal Law Enforcement Act, Badges for Native Communities Act, but mainly is focused on funding options that just do not exist for us. Federal funding has at times helped tribes establish or expand law enforcement programs, but most of these funding streams are competitive and short-term. They may help start a department, but they do not sustain one. Public safety is not temporary, it is a permanent governmental responsibility. Our tribe struggles to recruit and retain qualified officers because we cannot compete with state and local jurisdictions on salary, retirement, and benefits. When neighboring agencies offer significantly higher compensation and long-term stability, tribal departments become stepping stones instead of career destinations. The result is high turnover, staffing instability, and difficulty maintaining experienced personnel. That instability affects response times, it affects investigative capacity, it affects officer morale, and most importantly, it affects the safety and trust of our community. These challenges are intensified by California's status as a PL 280 state. Under Public Law 280, criminal jurisdiction in Indian country was transferred from the federal government to the state. In theory, this means the state and local agencies share responsibility for public safety on tribal lands. In practice, however, that shared responsibility often results in gaps. In Humboldt County, our tribal communities frequently experience delayed response and limited proactive presence. When jurisdiction is shared, accountability can become blurred. And when resources are stretched, tribal lands are too often treated as secondary. These gaps in public safety have real consequences. Across Indian country, tribal communities continue to face the crisis of missing and murdered indigenous people. Too many Native families live with the pain of loved ones who have disappeared or been taken by violence. Limited law enforcement resources, jurisdictional confusion, and delayed response can allow cases to go unresolved and families without answers. Strengthening tribal law enforcement capacity is one of the most important steps we can take to improve investigations, response times, and coordination in these cases. Yet despite this structure, the responsibility for protecting our citizens ultimately falls back on us. It is important to recognize that public safety in Indian country is also tied directly to the federal government's trust responsibility to tribal nations. Through treaties, federal laws, and longstanding policy, the United States has a legal and moral obligation to protect tribal sovereignty and support the safety and well-being of tribal citizens. Ensuring that tribal governments have the resources necessary to provide effective law enforcement is a core component of fulfilling that responsibility. In a PL 280 state, the need for strong, well-funded tribal law enforcement is not diminished, it is amplified. Without sustained appropriations that allow tribes to build professional, stable departments capable of exercising concurrent jurisdiction, this structural gap created by PL 280 remains unaddressed. Tribal citizens deserve the same level of protection as other communities in this country. I respectfully urge this subcommittee to expand base interior appropriations to support ongoing tribal law enforcement operations, not just startup programs. Create funding mechanisms that allow tribes to achieve parity in compensation and benefits with state and local agencies. Strengthen long-term, non-competitive funding streams that provide operational stability and officer retention. Sustainable public safety funding is not discretionary in Indian country. It is part of the federal trust responsibility. I would like to close with this. When a tribal member on our reservation calls for law enforcement help, they should never have to wonder whether help will come quickly or whether their community is treated as less worthy of protection. Our people deserve safety not in theory but in practice. I thank you for your time and consideration in these matters.
Joe?
First, again, thank the committee for taking time for us, and also what you guys did with the funding last year to protect some of the tribal funding that has been available and to fight to maintain those levels. However, for us, I always like to share a little bit about our tribe first. The Hoopa Valley tribe, we're located probably about a 2-hour drive from the Oregon border. We're about an hour from the coast. We occupy the largest reservation in California. However, we really only occupy about 1/3 of our Aboriginal territory. And we're on the Trinity River, which is a tributary to the Klamath River, so we're a big part of the Klamath Basin. Good friend of mine, our longtime self-governance coordinator for the Hoopa Valley tribe, he always talks about when the dams were put into place on the Trinity River, it represented a massive transfer of wealth from the Hoopa Reservation to the Central Valley. Ever since our lands were cut, our water was reduced, and our salmon populations have suffered mightily. It's put us in a position where we want to make sure that the trust responsibility is upheld, because when these things were being done and our kids were being sent to boarding schools, we were losing our language. We were always guaranteed that the trust responsibility would help make up for that. And there's a lot of great work that's done on our reservation. We have an awesome forestry program. We have a great fisheries program, an excellent fire program. A lot of hardworking men and women that come through, and our tribal employees, and we want to maintain our way of life. We want to maintain our tribal sovereignty, our identity in our own lands. However, with such great loss of resources over time, we do continue to struggle with poverty on our reservation, high rates of crime and drug abuse. And by supporting these programs like our Tribal Law Enforcement Program, our Office of Emergency Services, Social Services, ICWA, forestry, fire, fisheries, our irrigation system, our public utilities district, as well as our Kamau Medical Center funded through Indian Health Service, these are things that are great investments that will get our people more healthy, get us back to where we've always been, which was we never depended upon the government. We were self-sufficient. And by investing in us, just providing, making up for the losses that we've seen over time, we feel that we can get back to a thriving people. And we're starting to see that. We're making good progress. As I mentioned, a lot of great hardworking people that I represent here today. I'm very inspired by all of them, and we have young people that are going to college, graduating from Stanford and Ivy League schools, and so it shows that when the support is there for our people, we can do great things. However, I wanted to mention that just last week, young man by the name of Dylan Moon, only 17 years old, was was murdered on our reservation by some of his peers. And these are all children that grew up in poverty. I'll be honest with you, everyone that was involved. And so the more we can support these types of programs, the healthier our people will be. And we want to do good things. We want to be hardworking. We want to continue to rely on our salmon fishery and see that fishery restored. We want to be able to continue to support our firefighters. So not only are we protecting our assets like our timber, which we rely upon heavily, but also protecting homes and safety, and it provides for great careers. We see a lot of young men and women go into that program, and they find their identity in that. They become great role models in our community. They raise their families, and sometimes they move on to other career opportunities because we can't afford to pay them what they're worth. Actually, our base fire funding has not increased in 24 years. So, you can only imagine, with inflation, how much the costs have risen over time. Basically our funding is being diminished year after year, and our partners with the Forest Service, they don't have to wait around for reimbursements. We have to front all this money and then wait around for reimbursements. It really puts us in a bind when we're not able to do that. Our engines, our equipment is aging. Being treated at the same level as our counterparts like the Forest Service, and being adequately funded, because we're fighting a lot of the same fires. We help the Forest Service out a lot on their fires, and protecting our own reservation as well. If you look at the Johnson O'Malley program for education in the 1970s, we were getting around $2,500 per student. Today it's around $64 per student, and so just remembering that, we're running short, and we appreciate the support. We want to do good things, and it'll make the country better to see a healthier Indian country. So we really appreciate any support we can get, and lots of hardworking folks out here.
Thank you. Thank you both for your testimony. And it's we've talked about this over the last couple of days. I mean, one of the real challenges is being able to pay policemen and firemen and stuff. You're effectively training grounds for communities surrounding you.
Yeah.
I know where I grew up, the southern border of my town is the Fort Hall Indian Reservation, and then Pocatello is on the other side. And as soon as the officers on the reservation, as soon as they got trained,
Oh, yeah.
they got paid so much more in Blackfoot or in Pocatello that they were gone.
Trust me, same thing.
Yeah,
back in Humboldt.
and you see that not only between tribes and communities around it, you see it between the town I grew up in was 10,000. In Idaho Falls, it was like 60,000. We trained officers for Idaho Falls. Somehow we got to make sure that those people, that there's an incentive to stay where they are and do the job there. And I don't know, I don't have the answer to that yet, but there's got to be a way to do it.
Right, and I would like to mention along those lines, I think it was around 2016, we had a what's called a CAST assessment by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. It was a corrective action support team that came in and evaluated our police department. And they said in order for our police department to be at an adequate level to really support the community and surrounding areas adequately, we would need 15 officers. And right now we only have about 7.
Yeah.
And I think 3 of those are young security guards that are getting ready to go into the police academy. So we're a long ways from being able to adequately monitor and police our neighborhoods. And I appreciate my neighbor here, Bear River. He mentioned some of that. We deal with the same struggles. We're in the same county, and so that would be greatly appreciated. Any investment to help our tribal communities get back to better health and safety is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we've got to do something about this issue of murdered and missing Indigenous women and people. It is mind-boggling.
It is.
That goes on.
Right.
And that frankly, nobody knows about it. And the general public generally does not know about that.
Right.
And it's something we're working on very seriously.
Yeah.
We're not gonna solve it, we're gonna solve it with you. You know?
And I encourage you, if you ever get a chance, come out and visit us, because we do have some, there is a lot of good work going on around that to help prevent missing and murdered, and try to actually solve some of our cases. But we certainly have a long ways to go. The good thing is that we're partnering with our neighboring tribes all throughout California, whether that be Yurok or some of the tribes in Southern California. We're all working together, and we are making some progress there, but we definitely have a long ways to go.
Ms. Pingree?
Thank you both for your testimony, and I do appreciate, I mean, the chair really reiterated the challenges you both brought up about law enforcement, and it's just such a huge issue. We don't come close to meeting the demand of what you and other tribes need, so it really has to be one of our emphasis this year. So I thank you for that, and the work that we're talking about doing. You know, I mean, it was a long list of things that really can challenge a tribe, and I appreciate all of that. Do you have any active salmon fishery now, or is it pretty much gone?
We do. It's greatly diminished. I think I mentioned I visited with you guys here in 2023, and for quite a while now, we've been able to harvest less than one salmon per tribal member per year.
Wow.
And so we have about almost 4,000 tribal members, and last year we harvested about 1,000 salmon. But it's not nearly what it should be, and it's really taken a toll on us in a number of different ways.
Yeah, it's such a huge issue, and I know it's a big issue the chair cares about, and certainly I represent Maine, and we were always trying to restore our salmon fisheries. Did you actually say that Johnson O'Malley went from 2,500 down to 64?
That was, yeah, that's the information that came from our education department.
Yeah, I have to better understand that myself, but that's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
That there could have been that much money that long ago, and now
Right.
64 is completely inadequate. So
It really is, and those types of programs do great work. You know, I was a beneficiary of the program growing up, and I can tell you, if it wasn't for the extra tutoring that I received, I probably would have never even graduated from high school. So it goes a long ways.
well, thank you both for being here. Really appreciated your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's always interesting to have Ms. Pingree from Maine as my ranking member, because Maine has salmon. We're trying to make sure that we maintain salmon in Idaho. We grow potatoes. They claim they grow potatoes in Maine.
Not like you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
very much. Appreciate it.
We are running ahead, aren't we? Ed Johnston, John Panamaroff. I don't know how you pronounce that. Okay. Irvin Carlson and Cody Cody.
Let's see, where do we go across here? You called my name first.
You can sit any place you like up there.
That's all right, Cody. We know your last name.
I also go by that guy.
Okay, say your name again.
Panamaroff.
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 Okay. And Cody? Desitel, okay. Ah, good. Ed, you're first.
Thank you, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, members of the committee. It's an honor to be before you. I walk in the pathway of my ancestors and my teachings, and I have that same regard to across the table from me. This committee has been very responsive to our needs since 1974, when we were created, the Northwest Indian Fish Commission. We'd won a case, the United States sued the state of Washington, and we prevailed. It's the United States versus Washington. Earlier, you had Yakama Nation here, which is a party to U.S. v. Washington and Oregon v. Washington, and you read and see in our written testimony what those treaty rights mean to us. And the names of Mr. Cole, and Mr. Dix, and you folks are in our hearts and memory continually about what it means to us Indian people to survive in these United States in these times after all that's storied history about when we first welcome you to our shores. And I speak for my grandchildren. I want to have them to hold the life that I know as a salmon person. The culture of the Northwest is around salmon, like my relative around salmon in Buffalo from Montana. And we really take it to heart, the hard work that's happened here. I want to just briefly speak about three in particular that you'll find in the written testimony, the $66 million for BIA rights protection. That's the base funding that came out of the first appropriations here for the Northwest Indian Fish Commission. And it was all the responsibilities that it is to be a co-manager, to have that sovereignty and that relationship with the state of Washington with that federal oversight tied to those treaties. So our request is $66 million, and also that's comes through BIA rights protection, Western Washington Bolt. Then we talk about the Great Lakes and the Columbia River that are embedded in that same core funding. We do a lot of work with that money that comes through the BIA rights protection. We're in all these places where we have to regulate these fisheries, the Pacific Fisheries Management Council, Pacific Salmon Treaty come into play, Magnuson-Stevens Act, all of those rules and regulations. And so there's a lot of challenges in that because what was once in that era of collecting all that data is not accurate. It's been changed in so many ways because of impacts in the ocean and our natal streams, survival rates, no cool, clean water for those adults. They're dying pre-spawn. That's just a little snapshot of the situation that we find her in and how important these resources are. And as those that spoke before me that talk about come and visit us if you have the opportunity, and you can see firsthand the challenges that we have and the successes that we continue to have. There's a real balance between our ESA listed stocks and those other stocks that are kind of falling in those kinds of categories. And so we're talking about data that gets outdated, that's a relevancy to our Pacific Salmon Treaty funds or in the state comes through commerce. So those are some of the issues that are front and center with us, and we're really challenged with the resources that we have. We have had great success here. We look forward to more. We'll speak just a little bit about our wildlife, which is unmet need, and you both are familiar with RAWA because I believe you're both on that challenge of getting that kind of funding that will give us all access to those dollars. So we have an unmet need in our appropriations request of $2 million for that wildlife program. A little bit about our hatcheries there. That's a $15 million request. We release 44 million salmon a year out of those hatcheries. We have an extensive network of tribal hatcheries. We're also tied in with U.S. Fish and Wildlife hatcheries. There's 3 of them. Those are highly successful if you can work through the ability to capture them in our fisheries through all of those regulations and encumbrances to conservation, which we adhere to. And those are the types of visits that we're prepared to have if you come out and discuss further our challenges in properly using these funds that are in our appropriations requests. As salmon people, we face many challenges. On another plane, we have to discuss ESA and Marine Mammal Protection Act. Predation is really a problem in all over the West Coast, actually. There's some conflicts there that we hope to resolve. You heard many testimony like Annette Bryan that probably more eloquently than I speak about the challenges with, and she mentioned our fisheries programs. That's who we work with, hand in hand with the Puyallup tribe and the other 19 tribes. My chairman from the Quinault Nation, we're facing so many challenges, and the lifeblood of the Quinault in all of our streams are the salmon and what it means to our people. And when you lose your cultural identity, you start to have problems like you've heard from the chairman from Hoopa Valley when we have a loss of a relative due to violence. And we want to give them hope, and I appreciate your willingness to let me speak today, and we have lots of work to do. We embrace that, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Ed. John, you're next.
Chairman, Ranking Member, thank you for accepting my testimony today on this important hearing and allowing me to highlight issues facing Native communities and our economies. My name is John Panamaroff, and I'm testifying today in my capacity as co-chair of the Native American Contractors Association, or NACA. I'm a member of the Native Village of Afognak and grew up in rural Alaska. I serve in my day job as the CEO for Command Holdings, a Section 17 holding company for the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation. In 2003, NACA was formed as a national organization representing companies owned by tribes, Alaska Native corporations, and Native Hawaiian organizations, collectively known as Native entity-owned companies. NACA's mission is to enhance Native economic self-determination through conservation and advancement of government contracting to our communities based on the unique government-to-government relationship between Native Americans and the federal government. NACA represents 45 organizations across the country who in turn represent and serve more than 1 million tribal citizens, Alaska Native shareholders, and Native Hawaiians. Native companies are fundamentally different than individually owned companies. They are not owned by a single entrepreneur or driven by a private sector shareholder returns. Instead, they are community-based enterprises with direct relationships to reinvest profits into our people and into our community. Revenues generated through federal contracting support essential government services such as healthcare, education, public safety, housing, our fisheries, and other areas, often in some of our most remote and logistically challenging places within the United States. Native American participation in the 8A program, therefore, is part of the federal government fundamental trust and treaty obligations. The success of the 8A program is clear. In 2024, Native 8A companies received $2.6 billion in federal contracting awards, representing about 4% of all federal contracting. Nearly 70% of those awards supported the Department of War, where Native contractors delivered mission-critical capabilities, support readiness, enabled rapid response through streamlined procurement authorities. These tools reduced procurement timelines, lowered administrative burdens, which strengthened the lethality of our warfighter. Federal contracting programs that include Native entity-owned companies are narrowly tailored economic tools grounded in federal law, upheld repeatedly by Congress and our courts, and designed to address geographic isolation, marketing barriers, and historical federal obligations. On behalf of the Native small business community, I want to sincerely thank the Appropriations Committee for your support in increasing the funding for the SBA's Office of Native American Affairs. The investment strengthens our resources and abilities for our tribes and Native businesses to have the tools we need to grow, create jobs back home, and build long-term economic prosperities for our communities. I would also like to thank the committee for your consistent funding of the Indian Incentive Program, funded in the Defense Appropriation Bill. The IPP provides a 5% rebate to prime contractors who subcontract to Native-owned businesses. This program is currently funded at $25 million, which promotes $500 million in Native firm performance. NACA does, however, request that the committee look to increase this to $35 million in FY27.
One area we are asking for the committee to reconsider is the 10% reduction in salary and expenses for the SBA last year. While we appreciate the committee's and the administration's efforts to use American taxpayer dollars in a more efficient and effective manner, these workforce reductions have direct and negatively impacted operations for our tribal businesses. For example, SBA has effectively paused the intake of new 8A firms. The SBA has not approved a new 8A participant since August 15th of 2025. In the last year, the SBA SBA only approved 66 applications, which is down from 700 in 2024. Meanwhile, 10 to 15% of the firms graduating from the program every year. Effectively suspending approval of new 8A applications has serious consequences for Native-owned entities. Because of this, we would recommend the committee approve successful funding for staffing to the SBA to ensure agency is following congressional intent. In closing, until Native economic opportunities are improved dramatically, Native access to the 8A program must be protected. Until every Native who wants to work has access to meaningful employment, this program must be protected. And until Native children have quality of life compared to other Americans, this program must be protected. The Native 8A program is working exactly as Congress intended, by strengthening Native economies, by supporting the federal mission, and fulfilling the federal government's trust responsibility to our people. Thank you for allowing me to testify, and look forward to your questions. Only 12 seconds over. I tried.
There you go. Actually, 15 seconds.
Oh, dang it. Oh, I tried.
Irvin?
Hey, I was gonna save the best for last. Oh, is it on? Where does that one go? I'll sit right next to Ed. Good afternoon, Chairman Simpson and honorable members of the Interior Appropriations Subcommittee. My name is Irvin Carlson, and I'm a member of the Blackfeet Nation and I'm president of the Intertribal Buffalo Council. Native populations existed in North America in a symbiotic relationship with buffalo. Tribal people had nomadic lifestyles as they followed buffalo across the landscape. The buffalo were revered and considered a relative, as they provided food, shelter, clothing, and essential tools for survival and were central to tribal spirituality and religious ceremonies. American Indian tribes and buffalo also share the tragic history of near extermination in this country. Historians, they tell us that there were once between 30 and 60 million buffalo living in what is now North America. Due to wanton and unbridled overhunting by non-Indian buffalo hunters, millions and millions of our buffalo were slaughtered. The destruction was so complete by the late 1800s, only a few of the buffalo remained. Indeed, the population of the Indian people, once numbering in the millions, also dropped to an estimated 250,000 by the early 1900s. Simultaneously, Indians were forced to live on reservations, which ended their nomadic lifestyles and subsistence hunting and resulted in dependence on the federal government for survival. As tribes persevered and adapted to major lifestyle changes, the reestablishment of buffalo for tribal access remains limited due to scarce resources. Restoration of buffalo herds on our lands began in earnest in 1991, when a handful of tribes organized the Intertribal Bison Cooperative at the time, now known as the Intertribal Buffalo Council. Our organization has grown significantly, and today I'm proud to tell you that we have 90 federally recognized tribes across 22 states, all dedicated to restoring herds on our lands. The Indian population of our member tribes exceeds 1 million people. ITBC has received federal appropriations since 1992 in the form of earmarks or inclusion in the president's budgets or through DOI administrative action. However, despite the growth in our membership, appropriated funding has not increased to allow ITBC to pass through sufficient funds to member tribes for meaningful buffalo restoration and management efforts. I do want to express my appreciation to the subcommittee as you increased our funding in fiscal year 26 from 1.5 million to 2.0 million, although the total funding remains far short to accommodate the needs of 90 tribes. And this I want to say, to my brother here, a fraction of what our fishing tribes get. Maybe one day we'll get there, Ed. But we're all together on our food sources. So on behalf of the ITBC tribes, I respectfully request $17 million for fiscal year 2027. When we asked our member tribes what they needed in the form of ITBC or development grants, the cumulated response came back at $17 million. We continue to work on creating a statute directing the Secretary of the Interior to work with tribes and the ITBC to help tribes reestablish on-reservation buffalo herds. In the 117th Congress, the late Don Young, who I hold dearly in my heart, together with a dozen bipartisan colleagues, introduced and secured passage to the House of the Indian Buffalo Management Act. In the last Congress, the late Doug Lamalfa and Representative Peltola, together with a bipartisan group of members, introduced that legislation, and it was reported out of the House Natural Resources Committee. Senators Heinrich, Mullen, Smith, and Sullivan have introduced it in the Senate. And just yesterday, Congressman Hurd introduced it in the House, honoring Mr. Young and Mr. Lamalfa in the name of the bill. We hope that we will see clear to fund our request at $17 million, or as much funding as your budget will allow, which we hope is way up here. We are proud of our success to date, but much more is needed. We are regularly transporting surplus buffalo from our national parks to Indian tribes wishing to create or diversify herds, and in so doing, helping both the parks and our members. We do need your help to make this recovery possible, and with that, I thank you for listening to me today, our request.
Thank you, Chair Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree. I'm Cody Dizatel. I'm the president of the Intertribal Timber Council, and I also serve as the executive director for the Colville tribe, where I'm also a member. My testimony today will focus on why forest and fire management funding is critical to tribal nations and their people. Tribal forests are managed for wildlife habitat, aquatic resources, and sources of food and medicine critical to the cultural identity of Indian people. Management of Indian forests also generates significant revenue for tribal governments, which supports essential governmental services such as education, social services, and law enforcement. However, the 2023 Indian Forest Management Assessment Team Report, or IFMAT, identified disproportionate funding for tribal forest and wildfire management, which has contributed to harvest levels dropping from 730 million board feet in 1991 to 342 million board feet in 2019, which was the lowest harvest level since the Depression era. Based on the IFMAT report findings, BIA Forestry is funded about 1/3 per acre compared to the Forest Service and receives 1/14 of what the BLM in Oregon receives. Fire management funding for preparedness and fuels has similar discrepancies based on the IFMAT report. In addition to the funding shortfalls, tribes are also faced with the uncertainty associated with the reorganization of the fire functions within the Department of Interior with the formation of the new Wildland Fire Service. While we're optimistic the Wildland Fire Service provides an opportunity to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of fire management within Interior, we enter 2026 with a number of unknowns and light winters in the west setting up for a potentially dangerous fire season this summer. The IFMAT report also documents that BIA forestry funding, when factoring in inflation, has declined by 21% over the last 30 years. During that same 30-year period, Indian Forest Trust lands have increased from 15.6 to 19.3 million acres, meaning that on a per acre basis, funding in real terms has declined by almost 36% over the last 30 years. The result of this inequity is catastrophic for tribes. The IFMAT report found reduced funding to BIA for forest management resulted in $400 million in foregone timber revenue to tribes between 2010 and 2019. In addition to the foregone timber revenue, uncharacteristic wildfires have caused additional unquantified losses of timber, wildlife habitat, and aquatic and cultural resources. Those impacts and losses could have been mitigated or reduced with fully funded and staffed programs for tribes. The Colville tribe, for example, has lost over 1 billion board feet of timber since 2015, with 900,000 acres of our 1.4 million acre reservation burning just in the last 10 years. The current day market value of that billion board feet of timber is about $500 million. To achieve budget parity between the BIA, Forest Service, and BLM, the IFMAT report found it would require an additional $96 million per year for BIA forestry and $42 million in additional wildfire funding. Unfortunately, since the report was completed, funding for BIA forestry has been reduced from $66 million in 2023 to $62 million in FY 25 and 26. BIA managed forests have historically produced more than 400 million board feet annually on 19.3 million acres, which is more volume than BLM produced on 3 times as many acres. More than 50% of all timber produced from the Department of Interior lands comes from Indian forests. Importantly, tribal forests achieve this productivity at a fraction of the cost. By prioritizing funding for tribal forests, federal appropriations can be allocated where timber is produced most economically. You'll need the greatest return on investment for taxpayers while also supporting tribal self-determination and economic sovereignty. In light of the President's executive order on increased timber production and the proven efficiency of tribal forests, we asked Congress to allocate additional appropriations to a pilot program. Specifically, we request that the committee set aside $20 million in the Interior Appropriations Bill to be distributed jointly by the Secretaries of Ag and Interior to agencies on a competitive basis based on their assessment of where timber sales can be generated the fastest, at the lowest cost of the federal government, and best utilized by the forest products manufacturing sector. Increasing BIA forestry funding and capacity will also allow tribes to increase their use of cross-boundary authorities such as the Tribal Forest Protection Act, Good Neighbor Authority, and shared stewardship agreements, which we've seen states start to enter into in the last year. Similarly, those included in the Fix Our Forests Act. The ITC requests that Congress prioritize funding for Indian forests in its 2027 appropriations bill. We understand the important competing priorities that BIA has, as you've heard from the other testimony today. But we also want to recognize that part of the solution to the social issues that plague Indian country can be addressed by providing Indian people with the opportunity to practice their culture and traditions in the forest that we manage. And thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all of your testimony. I could ask a lot of questions. Just out of curiosity, do you ever get consulted by the Forest Service or BLM about forest management and BLM management?
Yes, but that's a fairly recent revolution. The Forest Service has gotten quite good at it, but they've had a significant reduction in staffing. So if you look at the Office of Tribal Relations within the Forest Service, they've lost about 75% of their staffing, largely to DRP in the last year. But we've actually had the new Forest Service chief visit the Colville Reservation in January of this year, and he attended our Intertribal Timber Council board meeting in December. So he seems very engaged and interested in how tribes can be partners in increasing the pace and scale at which the Forest Service does management. But with limited resources, we'll see how that works out. Funding is always one of those catch-22s.
Yeah, I think he is very interested in that, and not just consulting, but learning. You guys have been managing these forests for generations before we ever got here, you know, and you probably know a lot more about it than we do. And I think we can learn a lot. Buffalo. Interesting animals, aren't they?
Yeah.
It was what you didn't mention, or you did in more of a roundabout way, is that the reason that they came out and slaughtered all these buffaloes is that's how they were going to control the Indians, by taking away their food source.
You know, that's one thing I didn't bring up, but there's always that, is that just reading actually last night, just reading some articles on it, and, get rid of the buffalo. Consequently, you can get rid of the Indian.
Yep.
But the buffalo are resilient, and so are the Indian people.
Aren't they?
And we're still here.
You know, it's fascinating. It's amazing when you go look at some of the old pictures that were taken with the stacks of buffalo skulls. I mean,
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
It's almost unbelievable that there were that many buffalo. But it was, you kind of long for the day. It's kind of like with salmon. they used to say you could walk across the Columbia River on the backs of salmon and not get your feet wet, you know? There was so many salmon that came. Don't you kind of long for the days when when you heard about the buffalo coming over the hillside and stuff? It's amazing when you go out to places like North and South Dakota and Nebraska and the grasslands and those hillsides. You can almost picture it in your mind as you watch that. But I'm glad we're restoring them.
I am glad too. You know, it's a real healing. You know, and I just was at a different meeting earlier in with the Interior, and talking about how buffalo are healing. You know, for us.
Oh yeah.
For our land, but it's also it's a healing for all of us here in the United States. A part of our history.
Yep.
And so, buffalo are very popular right today, and they brought a lot of people together and healing a lot of our past traumas and histories that have happened to Indian people, and other people are realizing that, and that's all happening through that buffalo.
I suspect you know that the National Zoo started because of the buffalo.
Yep.
They had a couple that were out here on the mall.
Yeah.
And that's on the Buffalo Head Nickel. That's where that kind of started. And then they thought, well, we probably shouldn't keep these on the mall, and they started a zoo. and so they started a great institution out there.
Yeah. There's going to be, in May, there's going to be 2 weeks of a big commemoration of, we worked with the National Bison Association, Wildlife Conservation Society, and the ITBC to establish buffalo as a national mammal. And so there'll be a 10-year commemorative of that the week of the 14th, I think. But also there's an unveiling of some statues to buffalo that were just built and brought here. And they'll be unveiling them on the 2nd of April. And we're going to be at that.
All right.
So there's going to be a lot of commemorative things going on during those 2 weeks. And it would be good to see a lot of people there, a lot of our people, you know, such as yourselves there. Yeah, they've become a very popular in our country.
Yep. Too popular in Yellowstone, because when you drive through and you come to a buffalo jam and you go up there and all of a sudden somebody's got their grandkids out, go stand by the buffalo, and you know, and all of a sudden park rangers are going crazy. You know, these are wild animals. You know?
Exactly, they don't realize. You know, they're
I know it.
wildlife.
I know
They
it.
might be, you know, slow and moving around, but that's because they're not scared. But they're wildlife, and you just can't go up and pet them and take a picture with them.
And salmon are, as I said earlier, I think are one of the most incredible life cycles of any animal I've ever seen. I mean, it is. I take my staff out in August and try to find some of the high altitude cold streams in Idaho that they spawn in, and they're getting harder and harder to find any. But we got to restore those.
We're learning every day. We had a project on the excuse me. We had a project, Northwestern Indian Fish Commission, our Forks office, with the 4 coastal tribes on a ecosystem-based DNA. That's the totality of everything, from the water to the fish to the plants and everything present. It really was extensive. We spent, I think, 3 years. We just had a presentation, and that kind of data is going to be really valuable inside the straits and inside Puget Sound and in other areas about the whole complete ecosystem, and we're excited about that. That's the kind of work that we do.
Yeah. I read an article the other day that said, if you look at the bear, if you take DNA of the bear hair, 90% of them have salmon DNA in them. I mean, that's the food source.
Yes.
And the other thing I found amazing is that if you look at streams that have salmon return versus streams that don't have salmon return in, trees grow 3 times as fast in those streams that have salmon return as those that don't. So I mean, they are the food source.
We're all tied together.
Yep. And obviously, contracting with Native American tribes is vitally important to tribes. And as you're right, I mean, it is the ability to get out and get those jobs and I think it's a vital program that you guys have.
Thank you, sir. Again, this is our way of hunting and gathering now. This
Yep.
is the modern way of creating commerce,
Hunting
right?
and gathering, that's
Right? No,
a good way to
seriously,
look at it,
this
yeah.
is a way for us to bring in. We don't have traditional areas of commerce where you can go out and create a municipality, create your local city there that's providing taxes. This is bringing in jobs. This is bringing in dollars, again, for our government so we can stay sovereign to provide economic self-determination for our people. We're part of the solution, and it's working.
Yep.
And we ask that people to look at it from that lens. We are not just individual entrepreneurs trying to get contracts. We are part of the solution, and these dollars are coming back. We are for-profit companies with a social mission giving back to our people.
Shelley?
Yeah, well, the chair said it all very well, and thank you all for your testimony. I appreciate it when I get to hear you come before us with salmon, buffalo, timber. It's just also critical to the natural resources, and really appreciate the work that you do. And I fully believe you all deserve more funding for this. I mean, it's such a critically important part of the resources. So thank you for that. And I was disturbed to hear about the paused intake, and so I'll definitely put that on my list of things to look into. That's, I mean, pretty shocking to go from 700 applications down to 66. So when you talk about exactly what you did, that this is job creating, we're always thinking about how to help the tribes to have more resources. There's absolutely no argument for slowing that down or stopping it. So whatever
And
we can
again,
do.
we haven't had one since August 15th of 2025.
Yeah, that's
We're in the middle of March of 2026.
that's just nuts. I mean, there's no argument for it. So we'll find out what the problem is.
And if I could add one more comment to that. So, I mean, you've heard some of the other people make comments about funding being paused. In a lot of situations, tribes don't get frequent enough funding. It's typically competitive, so they don't have the capacity to go out and do that stuff with their own staff, so they're dependent on the contracting community. So it's, again, all of these things are intertied.
Yeah, and we had heard earlier that some of the timber harvests were slowed down too because there's not enough people to process the information. And
Yep, absolutely. I mean, on the budget side, we've seen DRP have some pretty significant impacts to BIA. They were already, I mean, I think in my testimony last year, we looked at BIA staffing levels, and they dropped from 6,400 just a few years ago to about 3,000, and this was before the second round of DRP. So, I mean, it's really critical now that BIA have adequate staffing to provide those trust services, provide their trustee responsibilities to tribes, but they're also the mechanism that gets funding to tribes. So without funding for BIA, it's really difficult for tribes to achieve what they want to.
yeah, we'll definitely look at that. Thank you all.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark Macaro, Ira Matt, and Amy Manier. However you pronounce that. What?
I think I'm good. Made it this far.
Go ahead.
In front of a mic, I guess would be.
Whatever you want. I'm a newbie.
Mark, you're the man.
I go first? All right. For better or worse, here we go. May you, yeah. Thank you, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, and other distinguished members of the subcommittee for allowing me to testify before this committee on NCAI's funding priorities for fiscal year 2027. I'm Mark Macaro. I'm the tribal chairman of the Pechanga Band of Indians in California, and also I am here as the president of the National Congress of American Indians. Founded in 1944, NCAI is the oldest, the largest, and most representative American Indian and Alaska Native organization serving the broad interests of tribal governments and communities. In addition to the comments in my written testimony, I want to focus my remarks today on 5 key concepts. The federal government's relationship with tribal nations is rooted in trust and treaty obligations, Yet across Indian country, those obligations remain critically and chronically underfunded and too often under-implemented. We urge the committee to focus on a simple but critical principle. Funding must translate into real-world outcomes in tribal nations and communities. First, we ask you to fully fund core federal trust responsibilities. Programs at the Indian Health Service, the BIA, and the Bureau of Indian Education remain significantly below need. We support advanced appropriations and long-term mandatory funding approaches to ensure stability and certainty for tribal communities. During the recent government shutdown, we saw how advanced appropriations for Indian Health Services ensured continuation of essential life-saving programs for tribal nations and their citizens, while the lack of advance appropriation for BIA programs, on the other hand, caused significant harm to tribal communities. Tribal leaders had to face stark choices, for instance, whether to fund law enforcement or social services, while furloughing or laying off other tribal government employees. Advance appropriations would solve that. Second, we urge robust investments in public safety and justice. Tribal communities continue to face some of the highest rates of violent crime in the country and yet remain the least resourced. Funding for law enforcement, courts, and implementation of the Violence Against Women Act tribal provisions must match the scale of the need. We urge this committee to require the immediate release of the fiscal year 2022 and fiscal year 2023 Tribal Law and Order Act reports by BIA Office of Justice Services. These reports provide essential data on the current funding levels for law enforcement, detention, and courts in tribal nations, but more importantly, they document the unmet funding needs for all tribal nations, including those in Public Law 280 states. The fiscal year 2021 report noted that the unmet need was over $3 billion. So that's why we need these other reports. We believe that the FY22 and 23 reports will show an even greater disparity between current funding levels and the actual funding needs to keep our communities safe. Third, infrastructure investments must meet basic standards of living. In many tribal communities, access to safe drinking water, reliable housing, passable roads, and broadband remains limited. Continued investment through agencies like the Department of Housing and Urban Development and other federal partners is essential to closing these gaps. Fourth, we ask you to strengthen tribal self-governance by fully funding contracts and compacts, including contract support costs and administrative needs. Tribal nations consistently demonstrate that when resources are delivered directly, outcomes improve. And finally, and critically, fund the people who make these programs work. We appreciate increased investments in Indian country, but without the workforce to implement them, those dollars don't reach our communities. We just heard an example from the previous panel with the Forest Service, I believe. We urge the committee to fund not just the programs, but the people required to deliver them. Across Indian country, programs are funded on paper, but not fully operational due to staffing shortages. Federal agencies and tribal governments alike face persistent vacancies, limited hiring flexibility, and insufficient administrative funding. Without adequate personnel capacity, even well-funded programs cannot be effectively implemented. Just this week, we learned that the Bureau of Indian Affairs is planning on releasing and implementing a reorganization plan that will make significant cuts to the staff critical in administering programs and distributing funding to tribal nations. In January of this year, the GAO found that the Indian Affairs workforce was reduced by 11% in 2025, and this caused delays in carrying out work, left regions and agencies with critical gaps, and exacerbation of previously identified issues with lack of sufficient workforce capacity. This action has been done without consultation with tribal nations and without consideration of the impact it will have on the delivery of programs and services. Additionally, any reduction in force will impact the tribal share calculation used when a tribe exercises self-governance through an ISDIA agreement. We urge the committee to encourage Indian Affairs to reverse course and engage in robust and collaborative consultations with tribal nations before taking any action that would imperil the already understaffed Indian Affairs workforce. Additionally, we urge the committee to ensure that appropriations include sufficient funding for staffing at federal agencies as well as direct tribal workforce capacity, grant management, financial oversight, and program administration. Expanding administrative cost coverage and supporting workforce development pipelines will ensure that federal investments are actually delivered on the ground. In closing, we ask you to view these requests not as discretionary spending, but as a fulfillment of legal and moral obligations. With adequate funding, sufficient flexibility in the workforce to implement programs effectively, tribal nations can continue to drive meaningful progress for their communities. I thank you for your time and your commitment to Indian country and look forward to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Chair Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, members of the subcommittee, some of them here. Lem, thank you for this opportunity today. Getting the opportunity to talk to you about fiscal year 2027 appropriations for tribal historic preservation officers. My name is Ira Matt. I'm a member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes and the Executive Director for the National Association of Tribal Historic Preservation Officers, or NATHPO. NATHPO, we are the only nationwide nonprofit dedicated specifically to supporting tribal preservation programs and the tribal nations they serve. And I'm here today to urge the committee to provide $34 million in 2027 for Tribal Historic Preservation Fund line item administered by the National Park Service. This request is rooted in a straightforward concern. Tribal Historic Preservation Officers, or THPOs, are being asked to carry a growing workload of federal review, consultation, documentation, and protection responsibilities, but the funding provided to support that work has not kept pace with either the number of THPOs or the complexity of the work itself. From FY23 to FY26, the number of THPO programs grew from 211 to 235. During that same period, the average amount available per THPO declined from roughly 108,000 to 101,000. And although there was an increase in FY26, which was much appreciated, it was the first increase since FY23, and it has not kept pace with the actual need. For tribal nations, this is not simply an administrative funding issue. THPO work is an exercise of tribal self-governance. THPOs help identify, document, and protect burial sites, sacred places, historic properties, indigenous knowledge, and other cultural and historical information that tribal nations rely on to exercise their sovereignty. Their work also extends well beyond federal compliance. They often support repatriation efforts, protect treaty and reserved rights, informed land and water-related matters, and engage federal agencies on undertakings that may affect places of religious and cultural importance both on and off tribal lands. And they're often the first line of government response when agencies or applicants seek to move projects forward. At the $34 million level, the average amount available per THPO would raise to approximately $144,000. NATHPO is recommending this amount because it represents a practical and necessary improvement over current funding levels, and it would help restore a measure of capacity, stability, and fairness to the THPO programs, which like Mr. Macara was talking about. Now, I do want to point out that even at that level, these tribal programs would still probably be operating below what is typically required to sustain professional capacity comparable to similarly skilled positions in the federal government, those that are at GS-13 or GS-14 level. And I make that comparison for a reason. When tribal nations assume historic preservation funds under the National Historic Preservation Act, the National Park Service requires the tribe to either employ or have access to individuals who meet the Secretary of Interior's professional qualification standards. Those standards establish degree and experience requirements for archaeologists, historians, architectural historians, and other qualified professionals. So in other words, tribes are expected to secure professional expertise comparable to what the federal government itself recognizes as specialized. Yet tribes are expected to do that with funding that, until recently, averaged close to $100,000 a year for their entire program. That's not only has to support professional capacity, but practical operation of the office as well. And the consequences of that underfunding are predictable. Tribal programs face greater difficulty recruiting and retaining qualified personnel. Federal agencies subsequently rely more on contractors, and project review backlogs grow. Consultation becomes more reactive, less effective, and prone to delay. Now, tribal nations are not asking the committee to stop development. I think you're hearing a lot about how tribes need housing, energy, infrastructure, economic opportunity, more so than most. What tribal nations are asking for is fairness and functional capacity. They should not be expected to meet these expanding federal demands for projects or provide expertise needed to make those processes work without the resources to do so. And providing $34 million for the Tribal Historic Preservation Fund line item is a practical investment in better federal decision-making, stronger tribal-federal relations, and more consistent protections of the places, histories, and knowledge that cannot be restored once lost. I would also note that my submitted written testimony includes additional requests beyond the Historic Preservation Fund. NATHPO has urged support for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, much like most of the speakers probably have, the Bureau of Land Management, and other departments and agencies to bolster their cultural resource programs, where experience has shown that federal capacity is limited. The submitted testimony also includes a request related to NAGPRA, which continues to require stronger support if its purposes are to be carried out in a meaningful and timely way. Lemlemsh, thank you for your time and consideration.
Miyuyam. Greetings, Chairman Simpson, Ranking Member Pingree, and all of the other committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today on behalf of NAFOA, which is the Native American Finance Officers Association. My name is Amy Manier. I am the treasurer of the Pechanga Band of Indians, as well as the treasurer of the NAFOA board. Tribal nations are not peripheral to the national economy. We are essential contributors to it. The policies of this subcommittee that you oversee directly affects the capacity that tribal governments use. It directly affects the capacity of tribal governments to serve their citizens, develop our economies, and fulfill the promises embedded in federal trust and treaty obligations. Respecting tribal sovereignty is not just a legal obligation, it's sound economic policy. When tribal nations have the tools to build strong, self-determined economies, Indian country and the nation will be stronger for it. Last month, the NAFOA board president, Rodney Butler, testified before the House Natural Resources Subcommittee on Indian and Insular Affairs regarding the federal economic development assistance programs. NAFOA has been working on several recommendations, but I'd like to highlight three. First, all federal programs should be designed in coordination with the tribes from the start, not at the end. We also need to provide comprehensive training and technical assistance. And lastly, we strongly encourage to collect tribal data that is so desperately needed in order to plan for the future. These are not abstract recommendations. They reflect lived experience with tribal financial officers, tribal leaders, and administrators who navigate this complex federal system daily. Congress has not just an opportunity, but an obligation to act on them. And NAFOA looks forward to working with the administration and Congress in order to continue to make improvements. Now, this is very exciting. I'd like to talk about taxes. So last month, the bipartisan Tribal Tax and Investment Reform Act of 2026 was entered. It's H.R. 7705. This was introduced by Representatives Gwen Moore and David Schweikirk. Thank you. This legislation addresses longstanding inequities in the federal tax code that put tribal nations at a strong disadvantage relative to state and local governments. This bill will address 4 critical areas: tax-exempt bond access, a new markets tax credit, low-income housing tax credit, and the general welfare exclusion. Of these, the bond gap is the most striking. So let's talk about that a moment. According to the Brookings Institute, from 2014 to 2020, state governments issued $47 billion annually in non-taxable municipal bonds. In that same time frame, tribal governments issued only $84 million in tax-exempt bonds. This gap is not the result of a diminished need or the lack of economic ambition. It is the direct result of inequity and inequitable policy. A central driver of this inequity is the essential governmental function test, which limits tribal bond financing to the narrowest set of purposes available to any government. The IRS interprets this standard as prohibiting tribal governments from financing commercial or industrial projects, including hotels, convention centers, golf courses, that cities and counties finance regularly as part of their economic development. Thank you for that piece. The next piece, can you tell it's my first time testifying? The next piece is the cursory fix. I would like to talk briefly about that. The Supreme Court, the Supreme Court's decision of the cursory decision has imposed high costs on tribal nations' costly litigation, restricting land into trust processes, and has deterred investments in Indian country. Today, or recently, H.R. 5257, introduced last September by Chairman Cole, addresses this directly by reaffirming the status of all land taken into trust for any federally recognized tribal nation prior to the bill's enactment. NFOA supports this legislation and urges the subcommittee to do the same. Next, we'd like to talk about appropriations and reclassification. Inconsistent federal funding cycles imposes real costs on tribal governments when programs that carry legal obligations are funded through discretionary appropriations. Tribes cannot reliably plan on services that their citizens depend on. This was mentioned before. NFOA recommends reclassifying tribally directed programs, in particular contract support costs and payments for tribal leases under the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act as mandatory appropriations. Next, the Indian Loan Guarantee Program. NFOA encourages Congress to protect and expand available lending authority through the Department of Interior Indian Loan Guarantee Program, as the ILGP is a critical tool for tribal capital assets, but as currently authorized. Tribes cannot combine the ILGP financing with a new market tax credit. This is a significant limitation with a simple low-cost legislative fix, resolving it would be meaningful to tribes across the nation. In conclusion, we look forward to working with Congress and the administration to ensure that the federal investments in tribal economies are commensurate with the federal government's trust and treaty obligations. The evidence is clear: when tribal nations have the policy tools, capital access, and institutional support to develop their economies, their communities thrive, and so does the national economy. Honoring tribal sovereignty and investing in tribal economic development is not charity. It is responsible governance. Thank you so much for your attention to these vital matters, and NFOA stands ready to support.
Thank you. You did just fine. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do for Indian country. We heard over these last 2 days probably more about law enforcement than I have in any previous hearings that I've had. I think that's probably true. Wouldn't you say so? We always hear about health care, and we know that that's one of the main issues and so forth and so on. We know that education is a big issue, but law enforcement, tribal justice has, I think, really stood out in all of these hearings because almost everybody has mentioned the need to address this. Has the National Congress, or at least, let me put it this way. What I'm most confused about, and I think one of the biggest challenges, is jurisdictional issues. And I'm not sure how that all works, tell you. The more I look at it and the more I study it, the more confused I get. Has the National Congress, are they looking at this, trying to address what needs to be done to address the jurisdictional issues with law enforcement?
Yes, in a short answer. The issue comes up from a variety of sources, but probably the one most familiar to people and the most present is with VAWA, and the ability for instance, in violence against women, trying to level the playing field, the jurisdictional field where those who commit crimes against women, tribes need to be able to prosecute those offenders, and the way things are constructed due to a standing law called the Oliphant case. We've long argued for an Oliphant fix. I know there, in the last handful of years, there have been some of your colleagues in the House, a few that have started to talk about the need for that. But and there's been some inroads made over, I think, the previous reauthorization of VAWA. But there really does need to be a global fix. But even if the law was perfect in terms of jurisdictional issues, and Indian country said, yes, this is where things need to be, we would still have this massive crisis level under-resourcing, underfunding, and so that's really where the focus really needs to be. There's two classifications for law enforcement in the United States, and there are tribes that are public law 280 tribes, where the state response is what happens on Indian land, and then those tribes that are not 280 tribes, and the funding is still an issue. It's an issue everywhere, but it's most critical. You're talking about triage. You're talking about everybody bleeding, right? So the worst are the massively large reservation tribal lands where you have 1, 2, 3 million acres of land, and there are calls for service, and there are response times that are not only extended response time. We're talking greater than 1 hour to get a first responder on the scene of a violent crime.
Yep.
And usually by the time they arrive out there, there's the crime scene is deteriorated. Yep. People have come and gone, footsteps through, things removed and disturbed. And if a tribal law enforcement agency even has a detective division to come through and do the investigation and do not just a field report, but then the follow-on, the investigation, and then maybe beyond that, the forensics. It's just not there. And so the underfunding just leads to all kinds of things. There's a Badges Act proposal. I think it's the initial author is a colleague of yours from Washington State. It is looking for parity in things like pension, and so that goes to the retention of those existing officers.
Yeah.
They're just, but we're taking these little bits of pieces of trying to fix them on the margins, but the core piece of the massive underfund and underspend is tragic. It has tragic consequences. Let me just say that even the Badges Act, the tribal agencies across Indian country will train people to work in law enforcement on their tribal departments, and they end up being there short term. They end up being trained, experienced. Once they get enough experience under their belt, there's this cycle where they will go into other adjacent jurisdictions or adjacent agencies, counties and cities, because they pay well, they've got all the benefits and everything to support a career. And so that kind of pass-through cycling is also something that we're competing with. And again, there are numerous reasons for it. Fundamentally, the lack of resources, lack of funding.
Yeah, and we all recognize that the lack of funding. I mean, I was out on some reservations where you get a domestic violence call, it's 2 hours before you get there. Well, guess what? It's over by then, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
We obviously need to increase the resources so that they can have the officers and also retain them. That's an issue everywhere.
Yep.
Being able to retain them on the reservations or tribes should not be training grounds for the local communities to hire them, and that's what it is essentially.
It is.
I'm, and maybe I'm just too stupid to understand, and that's probably the case. But someone that commits a crime on a reservation, if you're a member of that reservation, you're treated one way. If you are a member of another tribe from another reservation, it's differently. Or if you're a white guy on the reservation, I'm one who believes that reservations ought to run themselves. They ought to be able to do what is necessary on their reservation. If someone commits a crime on their reservation, they ought to be able to punish the damn crime. And that's what I say about in jurisdiction is what I'm talking about. And I don't know how we created this system that we got. I can see how it kind of came about because white guys didn't trust Indians to treat them right on the reservation if they'd committed a crime, and all this kind of stuff. And I can see how it developed, but somehow we got to fix it.
If I can give you just an additional example where jurisdiction comes into play, where it's a problem, is with drugs, drug trafficking, is the term I was looking for.
Yep.
There are many reservations, usually non-public law 280 reservations, that it's well known to drug traffickers that they can go into a reservation with relative impunity and do their drug deals and trafficking. Tribal police agencies will interdict, they will arrest, but the ability to hold them after 72 hours is not there,
Yep.
and there's no ability to prosecute. So they typically will have to take the drug dealers to
We're almost inviting them
the
to
reservation line. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's catch and release, literally.
Yeah.
And they go away for a few hours in some cases and come back the same day
Yeah.
and do it all over again because there's no ability to prosecute. And I don't know, the local jurisdictions don't want to prosecute, and they can't. The crime was committed on a reservation either. So there's this catch-22 and certainly a loophole that needs to be fixed. Now, jurisdiction will fix that, but then it'll need to be backed up by funding,
Yep.
so that the officers are there to be able to prosecute. The courts are there to be able to prosecute. So
I agree, but it's something that we've got to look into. It's not really this committee's issue. I mean, we do appropriations and stuff. That part is ours. But we've got to get the rest of Congress involved. We've got to get the Natural Resources Committee and their that does Indian Affairs looking at this and stuff, because I think it's a huge issue. And I last year when we held our hearing on murdered and missing Indigenous women, we had a woman that testified. It's the first time she'd ever told her story. She was a young girl. She was kidnapped. And she was held in a cabin. And she was held there for a week, or I think it was about a week, and she was beaten and raped, and then she was dumped. I mean, alive, but she was dumped off the reservation. She couldn't identify the cabin that she was held at. She knew the guy that did it. And but when they found her, she was off the reservation. So whose jurisdiction is it? Is it the reservation police? Is it the county police? Is it the state police? Is it the FBI? Today she's on the council, and the person that did this to her is one of her constituents.
Wow.
That should not happen.
No, it should not.
And we can fix it. But it's going to take all of us working together.
It does.
And it's going to take some trust. And I will tell you, when I grew up, sheriffs police officers in communities didn't trust tribal law enforcement. They weren't trained. Today, they go to the same schools, they get the same training, everything else, and you're seeing a lot more communication and a lot more MOUs between, cross-deputization between counties and between local communities and between tribes and stuff. That's a huge step forward. We've got to do more of it. We still have some retrograde people who don't believe that tribes can do a good job, but
I know that's happened in the that kind of cross-jurisdictional relationship building, but operational, I guess, effectiveness has been on the landscape with fire departments. I know that's the case. It's certainly in California, where reservation and non-reservation tribal departments, because a wildland fire doesn't know where the reservation stops and where the county or Forest Service land begins, and so they over the last I will say generation for sure, the last 20 years, there have been inroads in that, but that's exactly what needs to happen. Once tribal law enforcement agencies get fully funded, these reports getting released by these TLOA reports by the Office of Justice Services will help define the size of the problem, which will help you do the job that you need to do. And certainly advanced appropriations would go a long ways toward the year-to-year part of that until we get to the full funding part. So,
appreciate it.
yeah, thanks for the question.
SHPOs, very important. They do a really important job for historic preservation and stuff, and we support them. That's why we put the funding in last year. And if I remember correctly, didn't the administration want to eliminate them or something? That stuff. Anyway, we'll see what the president's budget comes out this year. It's supposed to be out in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what it is, but that's okay. We'll do it.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm not. I didn't know that they had a financial officers association. Does every tribe have a financial officer?
Oh, yes.
They probably
Yes.
have to have, don't they?
Yes, I'm my tribe's financial officer, so I enjoy numbers very much, obviously. But yes, so every tribe must have some financial officer. Some might just have a volunteer council person that is their treasurer, or ideally a bookkeeper or a CFO, like our tribe has a CFO. But it's extremely important because you can't get grant funding if you can't account for it. And so really, financial officers are really the key to success for a lot of tribes. And that's why NFOA does so much training, and we offer online training so that I'm hoping to get a lot more future tribal members that are the financial officers, so because we would be the greatest caretaker for our governments and our companies.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Shelley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You covered it all pretty well, but yes, thank you for your testimony, and that's certainly an important role. And I was interested to hear some of the things that you mentioned in that bill around the tax code, and I can see why that would be important, particularly to give some parity with the states and more economic power. So thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate very much the work that you do and the people you work with do. And I know in my state, Maine, there's been a lot of interest in, the return of artifacts, and there's just a lot of complicated things that go along, and also having sufficient funding and staffing to really process all those things when there's exchanges made. So thank you for the work you're doing there. And of course, thank you for all the things that were on your list of agenda items. They're all so important and things we've been talking about over the last 2 days. And I wholeheartedly agree on the law enforcement piece. And we'll do whatever we can to push on getting those 22 and 23 reports released. I've been using that $3 billion number, and I think you're right. I didn't realize it was that old, but I'm sure it's much worse. And I think we just need to be able to keep talking about those real numbers so people understand the pitiful amount that we're actually providing compared to the actual need. So we will push on that.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you all.
We all
Really
need that.
appreciate your testimony.
Thank you, and again, I want to thank all the witnesses that have come over the last couple of days to discuss issues that are important to Indian country, and I noticed a number of them thanked us for taking 2 days and, said how important our schedule was and timely and stuff. This is important to us. to hear from you all. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to travel across the country and to come here to tell us what's important in Indian country, because it really is, I mean, we're just doing our job. This is what you say is important to us, so we appreciate it very much. Thank you all for coming today. With that, subcommittee stands adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, significant weather.